Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be with you. Hope you had a great weekend. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online. ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. If you missed something from the program at any point, you can go back and get caught up at your leisure, as we will post all 3 hours of the program upon its conclusion, both to iTunes and our own audio vault. Email the show if you like. It's JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. On Twitter, it's at JCameron Show. It's also at 979 ESPN Radio, where you can Periscope the show. And on YouTube, if you want to watch us perform the radio duties, feel free, type in ESPN Tallahassee. Draft week. It is draft time, and it's a reminder for those of you wondering where you're going to be watching the draft. Jeff, you guys always do something. We do always do something. And this year I'm excited, as I always am. But we get to welcome into the fold a new partner of ours, friend of ours, Bumpers. Is open out here on Capitol Circle, and they'll be hosting the draft party on Thursday night. Draft watch party, really just a bunch of people relaxing, as it always is, hanging out and kind of taking in the suspense that is the draft. I always like getting the mix and match of fans. Obviously, within the state, you get Jags fans and Bucks fans and Dolphin fans. But where we're located, a lot of Saints fans, a lot of Falcons fans, obviously, Carolina fans. But come on out. Let's enjoy it together. Let's all hold our breath to see if our team screws it up or not. Bumpus Thursday night for the draft, first round. 75-cent wings, I know, is one of the specials. I think it's $3 domestic. So good times over here at Bumpus. If you don't know where Bumpus is, it's the old Calico Jacks, old CJs, if you will, Capitol Circle Northeast. And, you can't miss it right now. Bumpus local. You'll see the sign out there rotating.
It's spinning 360 degrees, which is 11 more degrees than the 349 in the name.
There it is. Boom.
Yeah.
Well played, sir. You're on your game. You're not tired from the trip down to Tampa to see the Lightning close out the series against New Jersey. And, of course, speaking of series, the Noles went on the road, played one up at Fenway, and then proceeded to play there at the campus and knock off Boston College. That's a sweep. It was a weekend for the ages if you're Stephen Wells, man. One that I think probably as a baseball player he's never enjoyed before. I don't mean that sarcastically. I mean, really, if you think about baseball, the fact that it's a game of failure, you don't reach base even in the junior, the Little League level 22 of 24 times like he did. 22 of 24 times. He had 14 hits, 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 11 runs scored, and 7 RBIs in the Boston College series alone. In the 2 victories over Stetson and BC, that's what he did. 22 of 24. It's remarkable. He went from hitting 195 to nearly 300. 195 to hitting 298. An all-time stretch of ABs that has not been replicated at any point at Florida State. And we've seen some players that seemingly never got out. I mean, J.D. Drew, I was here for his career. Obviously, we all watched Buster. And those 2 guys in particular, John Ford Griffin was also another one. Those 3 guys specifically, and I got to see all of their careers in their entirety, they would have stretches where it felt like every time they came to the plate, they got a hit or they got on base or they did damage. And none of them produced a streak like Stephen Wells. And not a shot at you, Stephen, but you're not Buster, you're not JD, you're not John Ford Griffin.
No. If you're a quarterback and you go 22 of 24 and you're a fan of the other team, you go, well, what is this? 22 of 24. That's like something the Bucks would give up 5 or 6 years ago because they played such soft zone under Lovie Smith. These guys are 22 of 24. But baseball, that's just embrace that forever.
Yeah.
Keep it going. Make it 25 out of 27. Yeah.
So
keep going, buddy.
Well, yeah, no, it's neat to watch. You knock on wood that he could just continue to catch fire and maybe be joined by a few other guys and see if the Florida State baseball team can keep this win streak alive now and garner momentum as we come down the stretch, obviously. And with that win, on Sunday. Coach Martin now has 1,973 victories. He needs 2 more to pass the late Augie Garrido for the record on the all-time wins list as the all-time leader of said list. 3 wins give him the record outright. Florida State playing Stetson tomorrow, followed by 3 against Miami this weekend. So,
well, you take care of business this week. A record is broken. Everybody's celebrating. It may not change everything about what we are as a baseball program right now, but we'll feel a lot better, won't we?
Yes, I think that's true. Yes, we will feel a lot better, and there will be real positive momentum moving forward here. And while this is not a team that strikes me as a potential national championship team, I do always hold out hope when it's baseball that you catch fire at the right time. Last year's team certainly didn't look like they had the making of being a top 10 team that's out in Omaha, concluding the year number 6 in the country, and then it happened, right? And they also won the conference. Maybe that happens for this team too, because it is true that if you get hot at the right time, you can do a lot of damage in truncated series, and we know how this works.
You feel the butterflies at all for any of this stuff, like the record being broken or the postseason in baseball? I mean, next week this time we'll be turning the calendar to May, and that's when things start to get serious.
My God.
Sorry, did I do that to you?
Yes, I was like, what is he talking about? We just got into April. We're not turning into May. What are you? And then I looked, and sure enough, I don't know that I'm feeling butterflies. I won't feel butterflies till we get into regional play. I mean, I don't even care about the ACC. Everybody, I don't care at all.
That would be a no. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. No. I mean, listen, you're going to
crazy-ass questions.
You're going to play in the ACC tournament, so you might as well win it. Sure, when we're in these things, I root for us to do well, but no, I don't sit around and go, I wonder how they're going to play in the ACC tournament. Once we get into regional play, then I start, because then it's, if you don't win, you're going home and your season's over. So, just give yourself at-bats, right? Give yourself a chance out in Omaha. Are there better teams in Florida State in college baseball right now? Yes, one resides about 2 hours away, unfortunately. Sure. Does it mean that team's going to win the national championship? No. Does it mean that Florida State can't? No. So get out there. Just get out there, and who knows what happens.
See, in Millar's head, he said, Jacksonville is. They're tough, man. They are very, very tough. But in a lot of sports, I mean, with my hockey team down the stretch, or if you're an NFL fan, then your team actually goes to the playoffs, unlike the Buccaneers. I mean, you do get nervous down the stretch run of the season because it's about positioning for the playoffs. It's about seeding. And for the Noles, a national seed would be pretty important. And I think based upon reputation, RPI, strength of schedule, all that kind of stuff, there are opportunities here, obviously, with top 25 opponents down the stretch, to get back to a top 8 national seed. So I get nervous for that because I think if you have to play a super regional away from Tallahassee.
As long as it's not in Gainesville, I'm fine.
Yeah, well, okay. All right.
Seriously, I don't care. If they got to go play on the road, maybe some of the weight is off of them. Although, yes, you'd prefer to play here in Tallahassee. I don't disagree with that. They play well at Hauser, and last year cruised right through. But I don't know. I wonder too. I will say this. I don't know because I'm not in that clubhouse every day, and I can't know this. And how the personalities mesh and all of that stuff matters. But I wonder if this pursuit of the record and the all-time wins record for Martin isn't something that will be nice to get out from under for all involved, including Martin. Like, that's all they hear about. That's all they've heard about all year long. Now, I'm not saying the coaches bring that up. Of course they don't. They're probably, just encouraging to play the game. What happens, happens. And I get that. But it's out there. There's no way to ignore it. Everybody knows what's about to happen. And it is it's historical. It is. There's no way to say otherwise. It's historical. It matters. It's important for the university. It's good for the university. It's great PR. It's all of those things. It's something nice to have. But at the same time, I do think it can be a distraction. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if some kids feel the weight of that, but
I would think they do. I mean, they haven't been here since the 70s. They know this guy just like everybody else did who came and played here for a couple of years at a time. But somehow you're going to be the representative team for the history of the program under Mike Martin. That's tough. There's a lot to that.
Well, it's a great honor. I mean, I think it's in like many years from now they'll look back and say, "Man, that's incredible. I had the good fortune."
I'm not saying they're mad about it, but there is a weight that comes with that. It's kind of like what we talk about when they get out to Omaha. They all know the drill, and that's not their fault. You know, they weren't the ones that came up short in years past. They're in Omaha right now. They've earned their place at the College World Series. But you do feel the extra weight of the fans' expectations and longing to crack the curse. David Ross, Tallahassee resident, knows all about that with the Cubs. There's just a little something extra that you have to deal with. And I don't think that this is a monumental distraction that they're going through right now, but how could it not be a distraction of some sort?
No, I would think it certainly is one other thing besides the play on the field that you worry about. So I think everybody will be happy to have that in the rear view, move forward, go from there. As for, by the way, the draft is this Thursday. The latest rumors, of course, is something that we will look at all week long. I love the draft. I always do, make no bones about it. I geek out over it. It's fun. I don't pretend to be a player personnel guy for any of these NFL teams. But, you know, in this job, doing what we do with the ability to sit down and prepare to do a sports show every day, you read everything. I'm also fortunate enough to do stuff for SiriusXM, and we have a lot of guests on that analyze the draft, including former scouts and people of that ilk. And I've had a chance to, again, over the weekend, did a show for ESPNU and talked to yet another draft guy, and that was an awful lot of fun to do. I'm going to be surprised if Cleveland doesn't screw this up. That you probably wouldn't need to be a draft expert about. But if they draft Josh Allen number 1, I'm going to crack up. And there is a persistent buzz that's the guy that they've liked all along. I'll say this now. I'll say it again later. Josh Rosen's the quarterback out of this crop that I would take. If you ask me to pick a quarterback, it's Josh Rosen. He's a unique guy, but if we're only looking at skill set, he throws the best ball of this bunch. He's got the arm talent. He makes all of the throws, and he played in an offense that translates, okay? And so he may not be a fit for certain markets. That's true too. But he would be the guy. I also think that something else seems to be true, and that is if you need a running back, this is your draft, because the thought now, and if I put collectively all of the people I've talked to analyzing this draft, and Charlie Campbell will join us later in the week, no fewer than 10, some people think up to 14 NFL caliber starting backs coming out of this draft. That's a ton. That is a ton. 2 from Georgia alone.
Right.
But, yeah, again, you look around, and this is as deep a draft class at that position as there is. Now, it's thin in other areas, and there are great concerns about, certain positions in this draft. Running back ain't one of them.
I know teams don't think they're going to fail, obviously. You can't have that mindset and be a general manager or a player personnel director or whatever it is calling the shots in a moment like this for the Browns. So I'm sure this doesn't enter their mind. But as a fan, I would think, let me take Saquon, and whatever quarterback falls to me, I'll take. Because perception-wise, who can blame us? Well, Darnold was the only one that was there, or Rosen or Allen was the one that was there for us to take in that moment. I got the best player available, and then I'm not so sure about these next 3 guys. So let other teams make the decision for me while I go get the best player in the draft. Thank you very much. I've won from a perception standpoint. If the guy stinks, well, I got Saquon Barkley, who is going to work out, and the Jets took the right guy, or the Giants took the right guy.
You know, it's interesting when you talk about these running backs. Saquon Barkley is thought by a lot of the people who write for these various websites to be the can't-miss prospect in this draft, right? If you were to grab a handful of guys that everybody agrees upon, universally it'd be Saquon Barkley. Yet, if you talk to people who look at the entire crop of running backs, I've talked to at least 3 people who are not sure that he's the best back in the class. That's how deep the class is, that you don't have to go that route. Now, he's got all of the other things, right? Now, there are a lot of guys that can run the football, and they have the physical tools to do so at the next level. But he's got all of the off-the-field stuff where he can be the face of your franchise, smart guy, hardworking guy, cares deeply about being a great team guy, interviewed exceptionally well to go along with all the physical tools. But in terms of the other guys that whether or not they translate and play at an elite level in the NFL, I mean, there are more than 6 or 7 that these NFL guys feel like can be every bit the back that Saquon Barkley is. It's a safe pick for all the reasons we just described, but he may not even be the best running back in the draft. And so I don't know how many times I've heard, he is the best player in this draft. Well, I'm not so sure that's true. I like Saquon Barkley a ton, and there'd be nothing wrong with getting him. Yeah, you're right. If you're Cleveland, that's not a bad pick because you feel like you can pencil him in to start for the next 10 years. And he's going to be productive.
Well, you got to stick to your own plan, but at the same time, I mean, what are you supposed to do? Draft Sony Michel #1 overall? You know what I mean? Like,
no.
The funny thing is, you're picking it once, so you can have anybody in the draft, but you're kind of boxed in by expectations and outside forces. Yes, I mean, I
think so. Yeah.
Sometimes, there might be somebody who's on a board that's much different than player personnel, and when you're picking at 16, it doesn't matter if you go off the board, so to speak, for your person. But if you're a 1, I mean, there's kind of a short list that you really need to pick from.
Yeah, it's funny. You can't draft a guard #1 overall, I don't think. But, boy, he seems like the guy that would be the most surefire answer to your problems.
If they drafted Nelson, your reaction, I don't care what the world would say. They'd call him nuts. What would you think?
I'd say good pick because I think he's going to be a Pro Bowl lineman for the next decade. And, I mean, if you tell anybody that with their #1 pick, whether it's they're the first team to select or the 2nd or 7th or 9th or 15th, that the guy you take is going to be a 10-year starter in the league, if not longer, and he's going to make however many Pro Bowls, that you would all sign up for that. Because at the end of the day, it certainly is an inexact science. I mean, you're trying to eliminate questions. You're trying to eliminate concerns. You're trying to, again, eliminate the percentage of failure. You know, like you're saying to yourself,
yes,
all right.
Who has the highest floor.
Right.
And the highest ceiling at the same time almost.
It's a really weird deal. You're saying, look, I know that nobody's a surefire thing, but when we look at precedent, when we look at what works and what doesn't, and we look at what his physical tools are to go along with the interview and the mental and everything else that we have, does this guy scream starting player in the league right now? He's going to make us better today. Because when you're picking that high, that's what you're doing. You've got wiggle room to take greater chances 3rd, 4th, 5th round. But that first pick, you better be getting a guy that you know can come in and play and make you better now. And that's why so many people say, just take Saquon Barkley. That you know he's going to make you better right now. That's true. That's why it's safe.
Even if he's not the best back in the draft 5 years from now.
Right. Even if he's not, you know that nobody can – and to your point, there'd be no PR backlash to that.
Right.
And
I just wonder,
he is going to make you better.
That can't make its way into the draft room, though.
I would hope not.
I mean, in Jerry Jones' world, probably yeah. Crazy owners, maybe. But I mean, if you're giving an honest effort about this thing, can you really be boxed into a pick because
you're worried about perception? I don't know. Maybe Cleveland. Good Lord, they've had so many things go so wrong for so long. It could. I would hope not. Spring games abound over this past weekend, too. It feels weird to come in on a Monday that didn't have it like we did, but at Georgia, they did. And, guess what? They're really, really good, as they thought they would be. Secondary depth is a concern. But, when you go and you read the locals that cover that team, and all they can come up with is, a little bit of concern about the depth of talent in the secondary. That was their big takeaway in Athens.
Yeah, I don't know who the dime back is going to be.
Yeah, we were a little worried about this, a little worried about that. We've got way too much talent to be concerned with at wide receiver. We're fine there. We've got running backs because we're Georgia and we always do. Whether it's Swift or Holyfield or any number of the other guys to replace Sony Michel and Chubb and all those guys. It's just like Alabama's spring game, which took place over the weekend. Unfortunately, if you're a Bama fan, you didn't get a look at who your quarterback is going to be because it ain't going to be the guy that played in the spring game. And that has, to some degree, been considered somewhat of a controversial angle to take on that story. I don't think so. Jalen Hurts, good kid, a lot of wins while he was there, 26-2 as a starter, all-SEC Offensive Player of the Year at one point. He's all those things, but you got a better quarterback in Tua. He didn't even play. Every other position for Alabama is good. It always is. And the people show up in droves, as they always do, as they did at both Georgia and Alabama. Notre Dame's spring game, by the way, and Nebraska's spring game, some of the other big ones that were out there. I have to hope that the buzz that was created in Lincoln this weekend is something that, I'm secretly rooting for all of this. I'd like to see Frost get that thing going.
Well, it's really simple to get your answer. Call up Lee Sterling. This is Christmas for him. He's going to consume all of these games. He'll tell you.
He's right now going, Jeff, I watched their spring game. And I'm going to go, but it was at the exact same time as the UCLA spring game. How did you do that? Didn't you just tell me you were watching UCLA? Well, I film them all. I fly in, I watch, and then once I don't watch live, I film. I sat down and watched it over the weekend. You're right, he does. That guy loves him some spring games. You know what spring game I wouldn't watch? UCLA's, because I never believe. That tent of suspicion they're under, they could have the greatest coach in the history of coaches, and I would never believe it, and I still don't.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, 574-4100.
Stop shop, we always aim to please. Truck and car concept, everything is here from A to Z.
At Advance Auto Parts, we offer you the quality parts you want and knowledge you need to help get you back on the road. And we're always looking for ways to help you save. Right now, get CarQuest conventional motor oil for just $2.96 a quart. Talk about an amazing price. Plus, find great prices on CarQuest's full line of motor oil. Go to Advance or participating CarQuest Auto Parts stores to take advantage of this great offer while it lasts. Advance Auto Parts, where oil is priced like it should be.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. I've been telling you that Kraft Nissan is your new tire headquarters, and now through April 30th, buy 3 tires and get the 4th one for $1. We're talking Goodyear, Bridgestone, Continental, Kumho, and more. Plus, all tires come with free lifetime rotations, and Kraft Nissan gives you 2 years road hazard protection on your new tires at no charge. I'm telling you, we beat the box stores and we beat the tire stores, and we back it up with the Kraft Price Match Guarantee. We beat any competitor's written or advertised price. Also, for a limited time with our express service, 5-quart conventional oil change with free tire rotation for only $36.95 and full synthetic oil for just $46.95, and no appointments are necessary. Plus, don't forget, you can check out all our service specials by opening our service specials tab at craftnissan.com. So if you're tired of driving across town for service, want the very best factory certified technicians, then come to Kraft Nissan. We service all makes and models, and we want to be your one-stop dealer for all your automotive needs. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Call 576-6171.
Widden Glass takes care of Tallahassee business. Local contractors know Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. They prefer Widden Glass because of their precise window glass replacement, masterful shower enclosures, and storefront glass. Widden Glass will take care of you to your complete satisfaction. That's been Widden's way of doing business for over 70 years. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. We've done hundreds of storefronts in the Tallahassee area. That's why Widden is known for taking care of business. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Have you ever noticed when you report an accident or a claim to an insurance company, they are very eager to get you to one of their approved body shops. They say that they guarantee the shop's work, but what they're really saying is the shop works for them, not the customer. So choose a shop that is working for and looking out for you, someone you trust. It's your choice. Lisa's Paint and Body.
License number MP46050.
Mom has her own special place in your heart, and Mother's Day is the perfect time to find the Pandora gifts that celebrate everything she is at Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. It could be a bracelet Jared's experts help you create, or a special gift set just for Mom, like the Flourishing Hearts gift set, just $99. or melt her heart with the Pandora Love from Mother charm, a Jared exclusive for just $55 while supplies last. Exclusive gifts from Pandora. That's why he went to Jared.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Email, Alabama may be king now, but which elite program do you see falling or struggling in the next few years? I hadn't really been given that much thought lately. Okay, well, it ain't going to be Clemson. It's not going to be Alabama because Nick Saban's never going to retire. 66 years old, feeling it, loving it, isn't going anywhere, so he says.
Is Urban ever going to get a quarterback? Didn't they have Barrett for 17 years?
Well, that was the story out of their spring game, was who was going to emerge there as the starting quarterback. They recruit too well to be down for any length of time. If as long as he's recruiting, they'll be good. They may not win a national championship until they find the right guy at quarterback, but they're a good team every year, and that Big Ten is better than it used to be, but it's not.
It's
unmanageable for Ohio State. It's not like Michigan is taking the strides forward that we've been waiting. Do you want that to be your answer? Because here's the deal. It's already beginning to fall flat. And this is what Harbaugh does, right? He gets somewhere and he makes an immediate impact both with attitude and chutzpah and all that. And then people get tired of him quickly because he's almost impossible to deal with. Now, Michigan didn't reach the heights to say that they could then fall off from, a mountaintop. They didn't get to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, they choked in.
Well, they didn't win the Big Ten. They haven't won the game against Ohio State, and they certainly haven't been in the college football playoffs. So what have they done? So, I mean, I would say maybe they reached a higher level, but not to where they thought they would be going when they hired him.
Well, is the question about who is currently elite that's going to fall off, or a great
Which
program that we're not?
Which program do you see falling and struggling over the next few years? This is from Nathan. Nathan, I don't know. Wow. Okay. Well, the problem is we have, again, elite programs. If you look at the history of the game, and those that have that cachet, that doesn't wane too much. Even Nebraska, which has been down for seemingly ever, still has a place, that pantheon of great teams that have achieved a lot in the sport. For people of my age, anyhow, you certainly remember what that was. They've been down for a long time, so you can't pick them. I would have been inclined to take teams in that area of the country where people aren't moving to, but rather away from.
Okay, two candidates, LSU, Auburn. LSU hasn't been dominant of late, but, I mean, couldn't you see them falling back into some sort of obscurity?
I certainly think they made the wrong move at coach. They don't have the right guy, and they're not going to rise up and supplant Alabama.
I don't know what the Auburn deal is either. I get it. Last week you were a little bit more confident than I was, but
well, they've got good players. They just have a lot of injuries right now.
But it seemed like they wanted to move in a different direction. So did Gus, and now they're kind of stuck together. And I just wonder if that might not implode at some point.
Yeah, that would be one of those things where you'd need to be close to the program to get a feel for how the administration is with him and how he is with the fans and his players. Right. We heard all of the rumors from the standpoint of Jimbo Fisher would be interested in the Auburn job, and I had heard that for years, right? I don't know how much of it was true, how much of it wasn't, but that was a place that his agent could steer and leverage and use. And, LSU was asking Jimbo to take over left and right, but it was Auburn that we found out was maybe the one in the division that he'd be more interested in, which I found fascinating. But that was because there was a lot of kind of a merry-go-round effect there, because same agent for all of these guys. Gus maybe thinking about going to Arkansas, and he was going to be excited to do so. And then that didn't happen, and Auburn, ended up beating both Alabama and Georgia in the same year.
Well, that was the talking point, is that you can restart the clock, right? That he could go to Arkansas and have 5 good years at minimum there as he's rebuilding, and their facilities have gotten better and all that stuff.
Their facilities are great, yeah.
And he could go home in a sense. And it seemed like a fait accompli until they beat Georgia, and then they beat Alabama. Like, they did the unthinkable at that time, but it was already, that was the domino that was going to fall. So I think they got kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Well, what do you do now? You have to offer the man an extension, and you have to recommit to him because look at what he just did. But did they really want that to be the case?
Well, this will offend their fans, but is Auburn an elite program? If you have to be, you're falling from the shelf, right? You're coming off the elite program shelf. So who is in that? I mean, listen, they could probably say something, that seemed as a slight to Florida State fans too. I mean, we just lost 6 games.
You don't have to. I mean, it doesn't have to be a barb trading war. In the last 10, 15 years, Auburn has been up there and in contention an awful lot. They beat Alabama every so often, which is tough for anybody to do in this era.
They won the national title with Cam Newton, and obviously that is sort of a crazy one-off set of circumstances, very strange. But they did win a national title, and they played for another one and lost to us in a war. It was a great game. And they certainly positioned themselves as one of the elite teams. Okay, fine, we'll put them in there. I think LSU is going to fall further than Auburn.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
and nobody, now that Tua is rolling at Alabama, I know he didn't play in the spring game, has the broken hand, and that is a so-called quarterback battle. I don't think much of one. Jalen Hurts is not going to beat Tua if he's healthy. He's not going to beat him out. So Alabama now has a legitimate passer. Great. Well, they're not going anywhere.
The funny thing about that question is you look to the West Coast and really who's fallen from grace. I mean, Washington is the best program. Oregon already has fallen off, right? So it's not them. And
Southern Cal is USC is a team that ought to be great. They've got talent-rich state to recruit in. They have tradition. They've got some really good players currently, and yet they don't feel like much of an elite program to me. They don't.
No, I don't think they would qualify for the. There's where you fallen from. The second level. I mean, it's not the top.
I guess it just depends on defining your terms. What's elite? Because is Michigan State elite?
Right.
Are they? I mean, they haven't played for a national title.
Well, and then look into the Big 12. I mean, we don't think Oklahoma's going anywhere, right?
No.
And beyond them, what is TCU is the next candidate for what you've done for me lately as an elite program? I don't think Patterson's going to go anywhere, is
Oklahoma State's a good team, but not an elite team.
Right, exactly. Texas is on the rise, they think, maybe.
But they haven't gotten back to that.
But they can't fall because
they haven't been there
at
yet.
The ground floor.
I don't know how to answer this. I'm thinking that, it's interesting. It's just going to be so cliche. I don't think that Dan Mullen's going to win the recruiting battles necessary to get by at Florida over Willie Taggart and Mark Richt. I think in the state, Florida State and Miami are going to do a better job of winning those battles for the elite of the elite in the state. And so I don't know. Dan's always been a very good coach. He's a very good recruiter. He'll get a quarterback at Florida. He always does find a quarterback for his system. He'll do better than McElwain, I think. But, man, I'm telling you.
This is a big year for them,
I'm telling you, if you flip this, if Florida had gotten Willie Taggart and we had gotten Dan Mullen, I would have been feeling awfully nervous about what's about to transpire. Because that was a possibility, right? These were all things that were talked about, and I would have thought,
we would have been okay with Mullen in the moment. I know I would have, because Willie going to Gainesville might have been dangerous for us, but there wouldn't have been the extra there seems to be right now. Winning and losing is going to shake off this honeymoon period, but the Willie Taggart honeymoon period is unlike most others.
Oh, it is real, man, but I'm telling you, he could have gone there and he would have created that recruiting buzz. You know that he would have. He knows how to do that. He would have put together this staff. I think we would have been in trouble. Before the two teams even play a game with their new regimes, we can all speculate, and I am.
Here's a fun speculation game. What is a good season for Florida this year? Making a bowl? And I'm not even trying to be a jerk. They went 4-7 last year. O-line's a problem. They don't really have a quarterback. Mullen is an offensive coach, but
they won 4 games last year.
I may have that wrong, but didn't they go 4-7?
I think you're right. Good God, they've made a habit of winning 4 games every few years. Good.
But what do you do with that roster? That was kind of a talking point as we were going along this McElwain era. Might want to bring some recruits in, Jimmy.
He could never get that offense going. And he had a guy, and he ran him off. Oh, my God, they'll be missing that dude for a lifetime. Will Grier, they had it. They had it. Just let that man do all the cocaine he wants to do. He could have been winning some games, Jimmy. Woo.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, 574-4100.
You easy laundry service from my friends at Wash Around the Clock. Oh, buddy, this is a game changer. If you're like me, your life is hectic. Between work, school, your kids' sporting events and activities, well, it leaves you precious little time to kick back and take a load off. About the last thing you want to do is hours of laundry, but there it sits, staring at you, taunting. No more. That's right. More watching, less washing. Save hours of valuable time when you sign up not doing laundry with easy laundry service from Wash Around the Clock. Whether it's dry cleaning or just plain laundry, Wash Around the Clock's easy laundry service will pick up and deliver at your home or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
Shot, save, rebound, score! The playoffs are here. The Corner Pocket is your home all spring long for all the heart-pounding moments in the NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs. It's held in a shot, save, rebound, score! The Corner Pocket on Appalachia Parkway next to Earth Fair is your headquarters for Trivia Tuesdays, Beer Bingo Thursdays, and of course, all the moments you'll never forget. For the championship! The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Reminiscing with Amazon Music.
Remember Coach's halftime speech back in junior high?
That song he played probably won us the game.
What was it again?
Alexa, play the song that goes, burning with determination.
Rediscover the songs that defined a moment in time. Amazon Music, the simplest way to listen to the music you love. New customers start your 30-day free trial at AmazonMusic.com. Renews automatically, cancel anytime.
Out on the golf course, there are the obvious hazards. There's the pond, the bunker, the rough, the even rougher.
Yeah, put me down for an 8.
The giant maples. The row of houses out of bounds on the right. The angry flock of geese who've surrounded your ball. Even the occasional groundskeeper you had no clue was there. But if you think you found every possible hazard out there, think again. The hazard you missed could actually be a killer. It's the spot on your skin, the one that could be skin cancer. Fact is, if you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills one person every hour. 1 in 5 Americans is likely to develop a form of skin cancer during their lifetime. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. It could be the save of a lifetime. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. ESPN's Mark J. Spears reporting Spurs coach Greg Popovich will not coach in Game 5 of their first-round NBA playoff series against the Warriors tomorrow. Popovich away from the team following the death of his wife, Erin. Assistant Ettore Messina will again fill in for Pop. The Rockets and Jazz each with a chance to put a stranglehold on their respective series tonight. Houston with a 2-1 lead after the Game 3 loss. In that game, Minnesota shot 50% from the floor, including 15 of 27 from three-point range. For the Rockets to rebound, it all starts with D, points out Coach Mike D'Antoni.
The only thing I'm worried about is defensively we weren't real good. And that takes away a lot of opportunities to run the ball and all that. And we just got to get better there. And we got to understand we're in the middle of a good series. And they did what they were supposed to do, and we did what we were supposed to do. Now, it'll be a great game on Monday.
Coverage of Game 4, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Tonight's other Game 4, Jazz Thunder. Oklahoma City's Russell Westbrook guaranteed there will not be a repeat performance by Utah's Ricky Rubio. Rubio had a triple-double in Game 3, outplaying Westbrook. Utah has a 2-1 series lead. Two first-round series could come to an end tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Capitals are at the Blue Jackets. The Bruins visit the Maple Leafs. Both Boston and Washington have 3-2 series leads. The Caps just 2-5 in their last 7 chances to eliminate an opponent. 3 days after he resigned as head coach of the Hurricanes, Bill Peters was hired as the new coach of the Flames. NFL, the agent for Patriots quarterback Tom Brady told ESPN's Adam Schefter he expects the future Hall of Famer to return for the 2018 season, said Brady's intentions have not changed. He's consistently said he'll play beyond this contract and into his mid-40s or until he feels he is not playing at a championship level.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Going to be Oklahoma. Disagree, Mario? And I'll tell you why. They moved on when they needed to. They got lucky. Bob Stoops walked away before it got, you know where we were headed, right? Stagnation. That's what happens. Lincoln Riley is young, forward-thinking, really good when it comes to, obviously, when you think about his offensive system. They're going to produce numbers. Players love him. He'll recruit well. Now Oklahoma will be all right.
Just go back
34 years old.
The
34.
The shockwaves being sent around the college football world
when it happened. But the timing, we were talking about, it couldn't have been better because I maintain that it was great timing. There isn't in today's college football landscape a great time to walk away because there's always something that would affect whether it's a recruiting class or whatever it might be. But yeah, you had time. You had time there.
No, December doesn't work because then you're doing a coaching search or transfer of power in the middle of the recruiting season, and you certainly can't do it into the late part of the summer. So you do it right in between spring ball and fall. I mean, that was well executed. Listen, Mario may be right. Eventually, it may not work out, but if you could transfer power between somebody who's already on staff and somebody who, says, I've had enough, that's the way to do it right there.
And was responsible for that offense, which has been carrying the day at OU and is as well thought of by his players as Lincoln Riley is. And to be 34 years old, man. No. They transitioned at the right time, I think. Now, listen, their life's about to get a lot harder. Their life has gotten a lot harder because now you have a really good recruiter at Texas. And we may once again see that rivalry return to where it should be if Texas gets back to where they should be. But, I think they moved at the right time. The NCAA this week likely to abolish longstanding legislation outlawing alcohol sales at its championship events. Did you know that?
No.
In the Southeastern Conference, prohibition reigns. The NCAA Division I Council is set to vote on a proposal to eliminate a policy that has long kept booze out of championship events. The governing body for college athletics has used a waiver the last 2 years to sell alcohol at various championships, including the College World Series. Such a waiver would no longer be needed if the council approves the proposal at meetings Tuesday and Wednesday in Indianapolis. The potential decision only furthers the growth push from the SEC schools, LSU included, to lift the league's ban on stadium-wide alcohol sales. I was not aware, by the way, that was the case. Commissioner Greg Sankey on Monday insisted that it won't be easy to overturn such a decades-long tradition that's been in place, he said during a panel discussion at the APSE Southeast Region meeting in Sanford. The NCAA's decision is only a data point, he said, in the conversation and not a determinative factor or the direction. The league's direction, though, is swerving. Several unnamed member schools are blocking a path to overturn that what many believe is an archaic policy, to say the least, but it's also not surprising that it's in place in many of the towns involving SEC teams. Sure, that's not shocking. At least 2 SEC programs, Texas A&M and Auburn, opened this season a type of beer garden in their baseball stadiums, selling alcohol in sequestered areas removed from bleacher seating. LSU opened a football version of this last year atop the south end zone during a 1,500-seat general admission area, turning that area, I should say, into a Skyline Club. Well, we have something very similar.
I see.
Admittance into the spaces at Texas A&M and Auburn is $5. Tickets in the Skyline Club are $45 and up. The league approved plans for these newly created areas, and they're looking to do it throughout the stadium now. Well, I would think that's just going to happen.
There's
it's
money
a
to be
revenue
made.
stream. What are we
Yes.
doing here? It is a revenue stream. I do worry it's not a good idea. Stadium-wide alcohol sales for games. Everybody knows I like beer. I don't hide from that. I would enjoy an ice-cold beer while attending a football game. Yes, I would.
Hello, my friend, hello.
But, man, football in the South is volatile. I mean, it's taken a little too seriously if we're being quite honest.
Yes. And then add the elements of students and rival students attending a game on the road. It's not like it's not available in the tailgates around the stadium, but perhaps the process would be slowed a little bit inside the stadium.
You know, I was reading, we were just talking about teams that are falling off or teams that are going to have a problem soon. I think LSU is the number one candidate to be a team that's going to have a problem. Orgeron ain't going to win there. Let's just say it. What are we doing here? Orgeron's not going to – he's not.
Orgeron needs to speak to the media through Matt Millar as his translator because he understands Creole.
Orgeron is of the coaches. So we got Jimbo at A&M. Obviously, Nick Saban's going nowhere at Alabama. We thought that maybe Auburn was going to make a change, but then they had that season and he got an extension, so he's not going anywhere. You already had the change at Ole Miss. You've already, Florida just brought in Dan Mullen. Tennessee brought in Jeremy Pruitt. Georgia's got Kirby Smart. He's safe. He's not going anywhere. You just look up and down the SEC and you go, who's the guy that sticks out as the one that's not going to make it here? Come on. If you play that game, LSU fan right now is going, damn it. Because you know in your heart of hearts.
LSU fans said, damn it, when they signed him. I would think, right?
He's just, everybody loves that guy and wants to hang out with him. But that's not the same as wanting that guy to be your head coach.
Yeah.
Like when you're arming yourself for this race and you have to deal with all of those people I just mentioned. In addition, you're dealing with Clemson in the South and Florida State in the South and all that. You want Ed Orgeron to be that guy that steps foot into the living room.
It's like if you have one of your good friends from college, he's the guy who doesn't really grow up, and he's an airline pilot. Maybe I'll fly somebody else.
Yeah, I don't feel as good about this. This isn't gonna.
He's got some issues.
Yeah.
I might go with a different carrier. I don't need him piloting my plane. No thanks.
They were, by the way, back to that other story. They were researching lifting the ban and how it might actually decrease incidents. While pregame and early game incidents decreased, the commissioner wondered aloud about the late game problems that they could have. We've been talking about this for a long time.
The maintain is years ahead of its time.
Yeah. Got to maintain. Those night games can be a toughie. But they did do a lot of research on if you allow for alcohol sales in the stadium, how it decreases the binge drinking in the parking lot beforehand that leads to an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, the final 15 to 30 minutes before a college kid enters the stadium.
Right, people go nuts because they know that's it. They can't get anything once they're in there, and you're less inclined to do that and to, funnel a beer or shotgun a beer if I can walk through those doors and buy another one. I don't need to go crazy out here. Research did show that was true.
As I've gotten older, I've really embraced the Bloody Mary more. And I would love it if Doak would adopt for noon kicks only. Noon kicks only.
Bloody Marys.
If they had a Bloody Mary bar, where you could do the customization and stuff. Those things are just primo. With all the hot sauces you can try. Yeah, buddy.
I'm with you. I'm never going to argue
olives?
against
that.
Here's
an olive station. You like pickles? Here's a pickle station.
Never need olives, ever. If there's a steady flow of alcohol through the game or alcohol, speak the word, Jeff. What are the outcomes, said Commissioner Sankey. I think that right now it's part of a lengthy discussion and debate. I can remember some NFL games where it flows freely that I've attended where you end up with some really uncomfortable situations. And that's why I think the responsible way to handle this is to continue the dialogue. See how we can manage oversight properly, but still make sure our stadiums are family-friendly, if you will. I haven't felt like stadiums with or without alcohol sales are family-friendly in some time. I've had the larger discussion on this show about the behavior of fans, and I'm not doing a soapbox thing. I'm just saying, just an observation of when I was going to games as a kid. Maybe I was just oblivious to it. I don't know.
It could have been. I wonder.
It could have been. I don't think so. I feel like
it did used to be that the end zone and the upper deck were your dangerous areas.
Yeah.
But if you sat anywhere else, it was
if
pretty
you were amongst
reasonable.
the riffraff, you knew what you were going to get.
Yeah.
But if you're
bleacher seats,
but if you're sitting on the 30, you feel pretty good. No, I don't think so anymore. I think yes, I'm probably very in tune to it because of a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old. But I go to a game, and let's say I have my two boys sit with their granddad at the game, and I go sit with them at the beginning and make sure everything's cool. And I sit. I mean, you could be playing a nobody opponent, and a couple bad series. Some F-bombs rain down, man. You're going to hear some things.
The worst I ever experienced, I was a little kid attending Tampa Bay Mutiny games at Houlihan Stadium.
Mutiny games.
And there was this guy about 4 or 5 rows above us, and he was swearing every other...
It's a Tampa Bay Mutiny game, sir.
In Spanglish, yes. So it was some of it I didn't understand, but I got the gist. And then every once in a while you hear a word you recognize, you go, oh, well, I know that one.
All right.
My God. Roy Lassiter. Lassiter.
I would have thought, why are you so fired up about this?
Mutiny. I guess the Columbus Crew really bring it out of you.
Man. It would have been funny if at that moment he just said, I just hate the Crew. I've always hate the Crew. Only about the Crew when they come. Only about the Crew. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You report an accident or a claim to an insurance company, they are very eager to get you to one of their approved body shops. They say that they guarantee the shops work, but what they're really saying is the shop works for them, not the customer. So choose a shop that is working for and looking out for you, someone you trust. It's your choice. Lisa's Paint and Body.
License number MP46050.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
If you think that us making fun of Gronk is disrespectful, just know that we are worshipers at this particular church.
So we love the man. I mean.
We do love the man. Let's conclude this service, please, Guillermo, please, with a reading of Gronk's prayer.
Everybody please bow your head and hold hands. Our Gronk, who scores in sevens, hallowed be thy brain, thy kingdom dumb, thy will mix rum, on turf as it is in heaven. Feed us this day our daily meat spread, and don't forgive us our trespasses, as we don't forgive those who double cover against us. Lead us directly and repeatedly into temptation, but deliver that sexy body from evil. For spikes in the end zone, with great power, bring you glory forever. Amen.
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 The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
And now Jeff and Eddie waste my time instead of recording a commercial.
I know we got to record this one, but remember that time with the thing and the guy?
Oh, and then we did that.
It was by the pool.
Right, and then
that guy jumped. The one guy
with the Speedo.
That was ridiculous,
man! What a day! And then the guy
he came up with the food.
The truck
he didn't even know.
You know,
had no idea.
And how about those girls?
If we could only recreate that, ridiculous. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Widden Glass takes care of Tallahassee business. Local contractors know Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. They prefer Widden Glass because of their precise window glass replacement, masterful shower enclosures, and storefront glass. Widden Glass will take care of you to your complete satisfaction. That's been Widden's way of doing business for over 70 years. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. We've done hundreds of storefronts in the Tallahassee area. That's why Widden is known for taking care of business. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. ESPN's Mark J. Spears reporting Spurs coach Greg Popovich will not coach in Game 5 of their first-round NBA playoff series against the Warriors tomorrow. Popovich away from the team following the death of his wife, Erin. Assistant Ettore Messina will again fill in for Pop. The Rockets and Jazz each with a chance to put a stranglehold on their respective series tonight. Houston with a 2-1 lead after the Game 3 loss. In that game, Minnesota shot 50% from the floor, including 15 of 27 from three-point range. For the Rockets to rebound, it all starts with D, points out Coach Mike D'Antoni.
The only thing I'm worried about is defensively we weren't real good. And that takes away a lot of opportunities to run the ball and all that. And we just got to get better there. And we got to understand we're in the middle of a good series. And they did what they were supposed to do, and we did what we were supposed to do. Now, it'll be a great game on Monday.
Coverage of Game 4, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Tonight's other Game 4, Jazz Thunder. Oklahoma City's Russell Westbrook guaranteed there will not be a repeat performance by Utah's Ricky Rubio. Rubio had a triple-double in Game 3, outplaying Westbrook. Utah has a 2-1 series lead. Two first-round series could come to an end tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Capitals are at the Blue Jackets. The Bruins visit the Maple Leafs. Both Boston and Washington have 3-2 series leads. The Caps just 2-5 in their last 7 chances to eliminate an opponent. 3 days after he resigned as head coach of the Hurricanes, Bill Peters was hired as the new coach of the Flames. NFL, the agent for Patriots quarterback Tom Brady told ESPN's Adam Schefter he expects the future Hall of Famer to return for the 2018 season. Said Brady's intentions have not changed. He's consistently said he'll play beyond this contract and into his mid-40s or until he feels he is not playing at a championship level.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hello. Online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming, free, missing anything like this interview I'm about to do with my man, Irashfel, warchant.com. You can catch it after the show concludes. We'll post all 3 hours, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. Fire away with your questions, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. On Twitter, it's at J Cameron Show. Don't forget about the WTSM app. It's free. Download that for your mobile devices, and you can listen in that way, especially if Tropos is giving you a problem in your car radio. On YouTube, it's ESPN Tallahassee. So go there and type that in. You can watch us do the show. Ira writes for warchant.com. That's a good thing. He writes good stuff for them, and he joins us every Monday. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good, Jeff. How you doing, man?
I'm good, buddy. This has already been a fun run and sort of a stretch where Willie Taggart and his staff have done just about everything exactly as you would write it out if you were going to ingratiate yourself to a community and win over fans of a program. And that continued. And I know I read your article about the staff being out there in the community with service projects and how that's continued to be encouraged. And, I was thinking about something after the spring game. A lot of players talked about the growth that the locker room has had and the togetherness that they feel now. And Willie talked about that right from the get-go and how getting together for dinners 3 times a week and then things like this only furthers that. Man, it'd almost be a shame that they have to play a game because this guy just does nothing wrong these days.
It's funny. It's like some of the things are so obvious that they just kind of like, you're giving them credit, and then you're like, well, why wouldn't anybody do that? Like last week, the athletics department holds their town hall meetings inside the department where they want all the coaches from all the staffs and the administration to come together and just discuss things, honor people, but also bring up any tangible issues. And from what I've, have been told, the football staff was never really represented at that meeting in the past. Other coaching staffs would come, but nobody from football. And Willie Taggart not only came to his first one, but he actually brought all of his assistant coaches to speak as well and made them speak to the whole group and introduce themselves. And it's like, on the one hand, you're like, man, that's awesome, Willie. On the other hand, it's like, it's not really that big of a deal. It just looks like a huge deal because those types of things were never really done under the previous administration. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, at some point, it's going to come down to what happens on the field. But yeah, he definitely has a feel. He has a good feel for not just the right way to operate, but certainly coming off the previous regime.
Yeah, it all flows together nicely. You're right. Some of it does seem like common sense, but it's not always the case that gets acted upon and executed properly. And every one of those moves certainly has been. And now he's on the booster tour, right? This is his first, and he's in Jacksonville. And now we'll get to see Willie on these booster tours where, by the way, just a thought, I'm sure he's going to make a very good impression because this is the kind of thing where he is very effective. When he gets before a room, he's very, very genuine. He's not the most excitable speaker in the world, but when he does speak, you listen because you believe in what he's saying.
Yeah, I mean, I really think these things he's going to do exceptionally well. And this is really, it's kind of really where Florida State football really kind of Bobby Bowden kind of, I'm not going to say built Florida State football, but it's where a lot of what happened for Florida State football in the dynasty area really was started on this tour, where Coach Bowden would go to these events and he would drive crisscross across the strait. Now these days the coaches fly in on little private jets, but back in the day, Coach Bowden and Charlie Barnes and a couple of they would drive across the state going to these events, and Coach Bowden had that ability to make everybody he came in contact with feel like they were the center of his universe right then at that time. And then the fact that years later he would see these same people and remember them and remember their kids and all that stuff. I don't know if Willie Taggart's going to be to that level, but he's going to be a whole lot closer than what Jimbo was. Jimbo's like a lot of these current coaches who kind of saw those things as necessities, but you had to get out and kind of talk to the big donors and do some of that, but it's not really what they wanted to do. Willie Taggart's going to be a whole lot better at that. And again, people will grade on a curve, and they'll come from where they were these last few years to this, and I think he'll hit a home run at every stop.
I know Willie went to the Masters, flew in for the day, and got to write that off on the bucket list there and enjoyed himself thoroughly. Is he a golfer?
I don't think he's a big golfer, no. We asked him that, and I think he said he was not much of a golfer. But I know he definitely was excited to go out there.
It always worried me that Jimbo was not a golfer, like not even a little bit, because you can really make an impact at these tournaments and these tour stops, if you will, for lack of a better term, if you get out there on the links with the guys and yuck it up with them. And Willie is so good with people. I would imagine if he were out there playing, it's just that much more effective. And you're right, by the way, the tradition that Bowden started with those kinds of interactions with fans goes way, way, way back and helped build the empire. My dad still talks about the first time he ever met Coach Bowden in, I think, 81. So, yeah, he still talks about that.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, the golfing would be a nice part of it, and maybe he'll get out there some. I know he's going out to some of these events where they are having golf tournaments. But again, just coming from, and I was at some of these events with Jimbo and, spoke to him and covered these events in Jacksonville and Pensacola and elsewhere in the state.
He wasn't a fan, man. He wasn't a fan.
And he made it very clear, sitting there looking at his phone or, just kind of being quick in and out, and sometimes not being able to make it at all for whatever reason. So, yeah, I just think that, again, what we've all seen so far is Taggart's ability to make people in the Florida State community feel like he wants to be there, and he's going to do that in these events as well. And ultimately, it's going to help with people writing checks for, the football facility and all these other things he's going to want down the road.
The docket for the off season, which includes this kind of stuff, we obviously are all celebrating the transition and how well it's gone. But Florida State will have to go about the business of getting better and improving and being ready to play, and the players will have to do this on their own while coaches can't be with them. I guess do a follow up. Let's put a ribbon on everything that we saw from the chase to the practices, the 15 or so practices in the game, to now into the off season. What's going to be vital so that when Florida State starts fall camp, you can get prepared to win a football game against what will be a good Virginia Tech team?
I think getting those offensive linemen healthy and getting those guys together. I don't know what all they can do in the offseason as far as an offensive line. I mean, I know they can get together and do some things, and I don't know that they're going to be able to identify, okay, these are our 5 guys, but they've got to get some of those guys. Juan Williams has got to get healthy. Alec Eberle, I think, will be without question. But they had a couple other guys as well. Cole Minshew's had that ankle forever. They've got to get that offensive line healthy, so at least they have options going into camp. You can't go into a season, again, playing at the tempo they want to play at with kind of a patchwork offensive line. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing. And on top of that, I think the other thing is you'd like to see somebody emerge as the leader at quarterback. I don't know if Willie's going to proclaim somebody. I don't know if what happened recently with DeAndre Francois is going to knock him back out of the race a little bit, or if it's still going to be an open competition. But I think you'd like to see somebody step up and be the leader of this offense, because if you think back, it's really been since Jameis left that this offense really hasn't had a leader. That guy that everybody revolves around, because you had a transfer in Everett Golson, then you had, Sean McGuire, who was kind of in and out of the lineup. Then you got a redshirt freshman in Francois. Then you get a true freshman in Blackman. I just think having somebody that they all know, this is our guy, I think would do a lot for this offense.
When you guys had a chance with Warchant there to sit down with him in his office, what sense did you get about Willie's urgency when you guys talked with him, sat down and talked with him? Was there anything that stood out while talking with him there in the office?
We talked a lot about his past. We really talked mostly about kind of how he got here and going back to his days at Western Kentucky and also kind of the things that formed him. But I think the one thing that really came through, and we're working on a couple stories that we'll have coming out, but it's just that, he really has, people wonder because he's jumped from job to job to job that, is this another step? Is this another step on his, path to wherever he's going to end up? And you really get the sense that his whole career has kind of been setting up for this moment, and he's really been preparing for this moment. And I think the things they're doing, none of the things they're doing are, to me, kind of the quick fix things. To me, a lot of the things they're doing are, setting a foundation for a good long run. I know he wants to win big. He hasn't hid the fact he wants to win national titles. He hasn't hid the fact he wants to be the first African American to win a national title. And I think I think there's an urgency to get this thing going, and I think he's excited about what they have to work with. But I also think there's a sense of longevity in the sense that he doesn't. It's not like a quick hit. I don't think he's trying to hit big and move on. You get the sense he's trying to lay the foundation, and that really his whole career is kind of building to this moment.
Well, he called this a dream job. And for me, if you say that about a job, it would mean that you've wanted to be in this position the entirety of your life, your playing career, your coaching. Once you realize you wanted to go into coaching, this is where you wanted to end up. So this would have to be about the long term. This would have to be about building something that could be sustained for a very long time. And if recruiting is any indication, which is the other part of all of this, he is going to make the kind of massive impact at Florida State that he was hoping to have and that we thought this staff could have when he put it together in recruiting that would allow them to succeed at a very high level very quickly. What do you think, because we were kicking this around before, and I haven't asked you this yet, what do you think is a reasonable expectation for Willie Taggart, this staff, in year one, record-wise?
Man, it's funny. I just was talking to somebody else about this. Personally, I felt all along when he got hired till today, I feel like, man, if you go 8-4 with all of the things that they have to fix, because they do have a lot of things to fix. I mean, this is, we talked about the offensive line. This is a super young defense. I think it's a challenging schedule. To me, I feel like 8-4 is okay. You feel okay. I would think, okay, this thing's trending in the right direction. I think he's kind of set a solid foundation to move forward. I get the sense that people will not be happy unless they're at least 9-3. And I think if they're 8-4, I think a lot of people will feel like they kind of lost some steam. Personally, I feel like that would be a solid season when you're coming off of what you're coming off of and where you got to go. I think it's realistic to expect them to win 9 games and maybe go crazy and win 10. But I think anything beyond that is fanciful to me. So again, I think somewhere in that ballpark. But I wouldn't be upset if they won 8 games. I just feel like it's a sign that they have some work to do.
Everybody is so excited by what's already been accomplished in a very short period of time. Everything from putting together a staff that is very well thought of to the impact he's already had on recruiting, to the fun that was had in the spring game. And obviously, we know what that offense is going to be, a lot different than what we've seen. And tempo-wise, it's something to get excited about. But I do think that it will be imperative that people temper their expectations for year one. I have this conversation with my dad and others, that give me the call once a week. What do you think? What's your assessment, son? And I know what they're getting at. They want to take the momentum that's already been gleaned and carry it into the offseason and on into the season with the belief that just feeling good about where things are going to somehow lead to wins on the football field right now with the personnel they have. And I just don't think that's the case because you have so many questions, like you said, with a young defense, which will be better. By the way, I think that's the other side of this is Harlan's doing a very good job of teaching and doing a very good job of simplifying things on that side of the ball as well. But, man, you can't just snap your fingers and make this offensive line a lot better. And while I like James Blackman and Bailey Hockman, and, we'll see what DeAndre Francois is come the fall, it's less than ideal at quarterback right now, too. So I think there's going to be some bumps in the road that will put a halt to this momentum amongst the fan base. But I think they're moving in the right direction. It's like the stock market. It's up and down a little bit, but we're always usually trending up eventually with the big picture. I think that's what's going to be the case with Willie. Right now they're trending up rapidly, but you lose that first game to Virginia Tech, and let's not forget you're playing a loaded Clemson team with like 15 defensive linemen that are going to be playing in the NFL. You got to play Miami on the road, who's loaded on defense. Again,
you're going to Notre Dame.
Yeah, you're going to Notre Dame, and their strength is on defense. I don't know, man. I 3 losses seems very much in play, if not 4, and I think that will disappoint people.
Yeah, and so much of it is kind of how it looks, the optics. I think that's if they play hard, if they don't make a ton of mistakes, if they don't kill themselves constantly, if there's not receivers running wide open on, your defense isn't just letting people run free. If those things aren't happening, and you're in some really good games and you just come up short, but you feel like there's making progress. Fans are smarter than we give them credit for a lot of times, and I think that people will see that okay, this thing's going in the right direction. But if they're 8-4, 9-3, but there's just crazy breakdowns and they can't get plays in and constant penalties and whatever and undisciplined play, then people will be more concerned. So I don't know if it's going to come down to the exact wins and losses that determines whether this is a success or not, especially in the first year. But I do think people are going to want to see that these guys are playing hard and they know what they're doing, because after the last few years, that's really what people have been frustrated about.
Big difference between losing games because you have areas of weakness that you can correct through recruiting and getting better, and then losing games because you're poorly coached. And how many texts, emails, tweets, whatever it was a year ago, time in, time out, began with this team is poorly coached, right? You can live with the losses if it's because you're missing some talent. Your personnel things have to get better in certain areas. You can't live with it when it's false starts, delay of games, a timeout, coming out of a timeout.
Or the other team's slot receiver running wide open play after play after play after play and nothing happening.
Right. Those things are the ones that are unforgivable. You're right. The fans are smarter than we give them credit for. Last thing before I let you go, any of your contacts hearing anything about announcements on football facilities?
I mean, I just think it's got to be very soon. I don't have a definitive date, but I think it's got to be really soon, because part of this spring tour is going to be about raising money for that. So I think they're going to go ahead with we all feel like they're going to go ahead and probably build a separate facility. But I don't know exactly when they're going to make that official.
Separate facility, so they're not going to do something different with what they already have. Okay.
Well, I don't think they're going to retrofit the Moore Center, which was one of the options. I mean, I think they are going to try to build a football facility. At least that's what I think that's definitely where the momentum is going. So, how it's going to work, the logistics of it's going to be interesting, because they do have space limitations. I know as much as you wanted to tear down Hauser,
you got to get rid of that relic. It's time to move on, buddy. Let's plow that sucker over. Get that out of the way. Build a brand new baseball stadium over there where the intramural fields are, so that we can enjoy College Town, walk out into that beautiful stadium, state of the art. And meanwhile, you've got all that new room cleared away for your new football-only facility. Boy, I'm rolling Big River.
Willie's got to get you on the jet and take you over to some of these speaking engagements.
I'll make it happen, baby. Let's go. Good talking to you, brother. Be well.
All right, Jeff. See you.
All right. Yeah, that's what you need to do right there.
Standalone. Okay.
I told you a moment ago that Florida fans are starting to get a little worried, and that Dan Mullen's not exactly pulling together the greatest of classes for 2019, and there's some recruiting questions. I was just reading something during the break before we had Ira on that had people very concerned.
Devastating.
Oh, I like where this is headed. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
TNT.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
EasyLaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
Did you know that one major advantage of propane cooking is that it offers more precise temperature control than electric? That means perfectly cooked meals every time. Propane also heats your home faster and maintains the warmth longer than electric or fuel oil, allowing you to potentially reduce your energy bill. If you'd like to know more, contact AmeriGas Propane right here in Tallahassee at 877-1122.
I'm Michael Blank, an attorney with the Personal Injury Law Office of Jose R. Fernandez. If you get into an accident, call 1-855-HOSE-305. That's 1-855-HOSE-305. We don't get paid until you do. Se habla español. Offices Tallahassee and Miami.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Hey, we're checking in with Joe over at Truck and Car Concepts. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, man, how you guys doing today? It's an awesome setup here at Truck and Car Concepts. You come in here, it's your one-stop shop. You can get it all taken care of. Window tinting, pinstriping, graphics, you name it, Truck and Car Concepts does it. And we've also got those bolt-on accessories that makes the truck look nice. We've got grill guards, we've got brush guards, stainless steel Nerf bars, lifetime warranty on those. And again, the spray-in bed liner is going to make it worth your while.
You're talking about putting a few of these things on there, and you're going to increase the value of that vehicle.
Well, you will, and not only are you going to do that, but you're going to make it look nice. It's going to customize it for your own personality and your own wants and needs. Some guys like it jacked up. We also do lowering kits.
There's only one place in town that's going to be able to truck it up then.
That's right. That's Truck and Car Concepts.
Truck and Car Concepts. 1 block east of Weems Road on Mahan Drive, across from Kraft Nissan. Call 656-8800. Come on, say it with me. 656-8800.
Commercial lawnmowers don't have odometers, but if they did, you might be surprised to see you could be mowing thousands of miles a year. That's why Gravely zero-turn mowers are built for the long haul. So when you're mowing the equivalent of Miami through Kentucky bluegrass country, all the way to Seattle, and back again every year, you can count on your Gravely zero-turn mower to get the job done, mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Over 150 new zero turns in stock. Visit TNTSupercenter.com to view inventory and pricing. In Thomasville, Georgia.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to give you special savings on the toughest tractors and utility vehicles on earth during the Mahindra Red Tag Sale. Hurry in for up to $7,900 in cash back and Red Tag savings. Only from Mahindra.
Up to $7,900 in cash back savings. Visit TNTSupercenter.com to view selection.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
In Thomasville, Georgia.
Reminiscing with Amazon Music.
Remember Coach's halftime speech back in junior high?
That song he played probably won us the game.
What was it again?
Alexa, play the song that goes, burning with determination.
Rediscover the songs that defined a moment in time. Amazon Music, the simplest way to listen to the music you love. New customers start your 30-day free trial at AmazonMusic.com. Renews automatically, cancel anytime.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
So, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we're going to have a parrot deliver the name of our 4th round selection. Did you know that?
A what?
A parrot.
Not a parent, but a parrot?
A parrot. The NFL announced today that a parrot will deliver the Buccaneers pick to an announcer in the pirate ship at Raymond James Stadium. The Bucs announced that the parrot named Jaja is from the Florida Exotic Bird Sanctuary. Well, that's all well and good. In Minnesota, members of the gold medal-winning U.S. men's Olympic curling team will announce the Minnesota Vikings picks at the St. Paul Curling Club. This is a thing across the league where you get to do something unique, right? So San Francisco's 4th-round pick will come from Lucasfilm, where Ron Howard, Star Wars characters including Chewbacca, Stormtroopers, and R2-D2, will represent prep flag football teams and make the announcement of the pick.
Okay.
That's weird.
Well, so they paid the 49ers for the right because they have the Solo movie coming out, which Ron Howard directed.
The Dolphins are doing the best thing of everybody that I've read so far. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School members will be the ones. That's the right thing to do. Miami, good job. And then every team's got, Thurman Thomas and the Boys and Girls Club of Buffalo will be making a selection for them.
I think he's done that in the past.
So you got that. There are others that the Chiefs will announce that Fort Riley child and youth service teams from the military base will be making their picks. The Vegas pick will come in from Las Vegas. They're doing their we're moving. Can't wait to get the hell up out of here.
Yeah, there it is.
And the Bucs will have a parrot. It doesn't feel like the right thing. Doesn't feel like it's cool to have a parrot.
No, but if we were winning a lot, I'd love it because it's ridiculous. But since we're a laughingstock, I don't need the double down.
I feel the same way, but I also think it's something that, again, screams to we need to go back to just permanently wearing the creamsicles. All of this sounds like something we should be doing. Like, let's just harken back all the way back. Just do it. Have a ridiculous Bucko Bruce on your helmet. Yep. Have parrots at the games. Do it all.
The parrot would be the new mascot.
Well,
there he is.
Would there be a Bruce in that ship with the parrot on his shoulder?
Sure.
I think we're on to something there.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you could do that. It's kind of ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. It feels like the Bucs aren't well run.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
does it?
It does. It feels like Tampa Bay is a poorly run organization.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the feeling it gives me. I know it's just a parrot delivering a 4th-round pick on a Monday. I got you, or whatever. But it's not on a Monday. But
I feel like I'm going to have to chew on that for a little bit. I don't know. I don't know where you're going with that.
I think they're a poorly run organization, and the kind of organization that would indeed have a parrot delivering a pick.
See, what I'd do is I'd put the pick's name on a football, put the football in a cannon, shoot it out of the cannon onto the football field at Raymond James Stadium, and then have a legend like, I don't know. Well, who would be a legend of ours?
Well, they're dead, a lot of them, unfortunately.
You can't really go with Keyshawn or Keenan McCardell.
No, Leroy Selman would have been the right answer, but he's dead. So
maybe Allstott, if you think he could actually field something like that. Boy, maybe DB could do it. I mean, come on, he could flag down a football. But you shoot the football out to the field, you have a legend catch it,
Derek
and then they
Brooks
tell you
can catch the football. Yeah. Yes, let's have Derek Brooks catch it. These days, all things that the Bucs do that require a legend need to be involving Derek Brooks.
Sure. Or you could even
because you don't want Sapp near the franchise.
Probably not.
No, you don't want Warren Sapp there.
Or you could go with like really hardcore Tampa Bay fan appeal and get Michael Spurlock, who took the first kickback.
Hardcore Tampa Bay fan appeal. That would be that.
You just shoot the ball out the cannon, it lands on the field. Well, and we have a guy catch it, and then he says, with the 127th pick, the Buccaneers select, bam, and it's some kid we'll never hear of again.
If the Bucs, I'm going to give you this, and then I'll move on. Over under 3 years. Okay, well. So the Jameis thing plays into this, so it's hard to. I can't probably project it out 3 years.
How about Lee's thoughts on their hedging their bets there with the Jameis option being picked up?
What they did, though, what I disagreed with Lee about, this is last week. If you missed that interview we did with Lee DeKemper, JoeBucksFan.com, go to the website, ESPN Tallahassee, and pull up the archived audio or go to iTunes. He said basically if this year is poor, and the schedule certainly speaks to it being front-loaded, they could get off to a bad start. If that affects them and they end up going down a wrong path and not bouncing back from a tough early start to the season, then yet another bad season means that a new group could be here to coach the football team, new staff next year, and then therefore they may want to start over. I don't think so. I think anybody that would take that job would do so because of Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
I don't think a new group would come in there and say, I'm sure there's somebody coming out in the draft here real soon that I'm going to hitch my wagon to. No, I think the opposite would be true. I think they'd say, well, at least you got a franchise quarterback, but it's a poorly run organization that I'm going to have to put up with.
Well, and given our arguments last year about Jameis, what he is, what he isn't, I know this is kind of funny coming from me, but lest we forget down the stretch that he outplayed Matt Ryan and Cam Newton on a Monday night and the following Sunday and was one of the better quarterbacks for the last month of the season across the game.
There were no fewer than 4 to 5 articles in the last 3 weeks of the season remarking by the author as to how surprised they were when they looked inside the numbers, regarding Jameis's play and how much better it was than the record, and how shocked they were to find that out. There is an inclination by many who are not invested in the Bucs to assume that Jameis Winston's the problem. They want to believe that. It fits a narrative that's been written time and again. They want to believe he's the reason that the Bucs didn't have a good season last year. And it's just simply not true, and there's no number, save for the fumbles, that would reveal that. But everything beyond that, the throwing of the football, the accuracy, the yardage, the yards per attempt, all of those things reveal that he actually improved in many of the areas that we had concerns in previous. This was about a one-dimensional team that couldn't protect their quarterback because nobody had to respect the run, and it was made way worse by the fact that they couldn't get stops, in particular on third down. So two elements of the game, two big elements of the game were missing, neither of which had to do with Jameis Winston, other than the fact that he got hurt. So I agree. I think that people are quick to say it's not working out for him, and they're quick to forget what you just said, that there were numerous games a year ago where he shined, played well in defeat, outplayed Pro Bowl caliber quarterbacks, won those head-to-head battles. Is he still on occasion immature? Absolutely, and it hurts his reputation. And every time he does it, I cringe. Whether it's eat this W or trying to charge off the sideline to get after an official who made a wrong call while he's in the heat of battle. You can't do that if you're a franchise quarterback. Some of it's childish. Some of it's immature. Some of it is it kind of reveals of a volatility that you can't have at that position. You can be a linebacker and be a little off your rocker. You can be so competitive that it hurts and be a right tackle, but you cannot be that way as a quarterback. And that hurts him, but it also leads to a false narrative. And I just hope he is healthy and well protected with a balanced attack this year so we can shut that all down and move on and address the bigger issues, which is, again, it's a poorly run organization. When you look at the well-run organizations in the NFL, they tend to win consistently. Those that aren't don't, period. And they have areas of concern that they need to address in this draft. If you can get the pass rush, as you brought in JPP, maybe you draft Chubb on the other side. If it's the run game and you're seeking the balance and protection, then it's Quentin Nelson if he's available. You've got options here. You can even help the back end of that secondary with a Derwin James or a Minkah Fitzpatrick. These are all areas that would help Tampa Bay and would help change the story. But my greater concern, every time we talk about the Bucs, and here I'm joking about the parrot and all that other stuff, my greater concern is that they just often reveal themselves to be rudderless. And when that's the case, it almost doesn't matter what you do. I mean, how many franchises have you watched across sport that are struggling, and yet you'll hear commentators and writers and analysts say, gosh, it's strange that they're struggling so much because they really have some nice pieces.
Yes, a lot of them.
Right? And that's what happens with poorly run organizations. It doesn't matter. You've got a right guard, or you've got a left tackle, or you've got 2-star receivers and a decent quarterback, or you've got a good defense, or whatever it is. Cleveland's had pieces. Cincinnati's had pieces. Go on down the list, right? But there's something missing. Usually it's within the institution. It's within the organization. And the Bucs are that right now. And I don't know what about the draft fixes that. It's like if you're a Dolphins fan, you feel the exact same way. You've been dealing with this forever. It's a poorly run organization.
Listen, I mean, if you have a bad year this year, then you're talking about, and that's your prediction. It's like I submit that the Bucs are going to have a below-average season. They're not going to make the playoffs. That means that I head into the season as the Bucs fan who thinks that's going to happen, not having any confidence in the coach on the sidelines. I don't give a damn about him because he'll be gone next year. And the GM's going to be gone too because the ownership has decided not to put any confidence in either one of those guys.
Well, right, and it's just in perpetuity.
No multi-year commitments, verbally, contractually. There's nothing that inspires courage and stability about the direction we've gone. It feels like we've just decided to give this thing one last try rather than double down and invest in an identity.
I can make an argument both ways. I can say they should have fired him at the end of last year, and once again, we would have had the merry-go-round of coaching where you just fire people every couple of years, which is not a good look. Certainly doesn't welcome into the fold the up-and-coming young head coach who has options. He doesn't want to go work for an organization like that. And then B, I could say that they did the right thing and that they have to establish that very stability, even though the guy on the sideline that they're investing in by allowing him to come back has given you ample evidence that he's not the guy.
He's scared of success, yes.
Well,
the success has to be measured and incremental. It can't be all or nothing sometimes.
Well, you know, if you can't block it up, it really doesn't matter who the hell's over there, or who's running the organization. So you went out and got the guy from the Ravens. That's supposed to be a huge upgrade. You know what I think the other upgrade should be within that group, and then you'll be all right. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
TNT.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Karaoke, darts, and more. Lots of daily lunch specials under $8. Happy hour specials daily and happy hour all day on Friday. The Hobbit American Grill.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. I've been telling you that Kraft Nissan is your new tire headquarters, and now through April 30th, buy 3 tires and get the 4th one for $1. We're talking Goodyear, Bridgestone, Continental, Kumho, and more. Plus, all tires come with free lifetime rotations, and Kraft Nissan gives you 2 years road hazard protection on your new tires at no charge. I'm telling you, we beat the box stores, and we beat the tire stores, and we back it up with the Kraft Price Match Guarantee. We beat any competitor's written or advertised price. Also, for a limited time with our express service, 5-quart conventional oil change with free tire rotation for only $36.95 and full synthetic oil for just $46.95, and no appointments are necessary. Plus, don't forget, you can check out all our service specials by opening our service specials tab at craftnissan.com. So if you're tired of driving across town for service, want the very best factory certified technicians, then come to Kraft Nissan. We service all makes and models, and we want to be your one-stop dealer for all your automotive needs. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Call 576-6171.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Hi, honey. How was your day?
It was fine. Pretty uneventful. How about you?
Well, I called the auditors this afternoon and made an appointment for one to come out to the house.
Wait, what? Have you lost your mind? Auditors? Why would you call them? Now we have to find our tax returns, paycheck stubs, and financial records, not to mention all those forms. Good grief.
Relax, honey. It's not that kind of auditor.
It's not?
No. I called the City of Tallahassee Utilities and scheduled a free energy audit.
Energy audit?
Right. It's when an energy auditor from our own utilities comes out to the house, examines the structure, and checks our energy and water systems, and then recommends changes we might make to save energy, water, and money.
And you said it's free?
Absolutely. It's free from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, our own utilities.
Sounds good to me. Let's save some money.
If you're a City of Tallahassee residential, electric, and natural gas customer, you can schedule a free energy audit. Call 891-4YOU. That's 891-4968. And schedule your free energy audit at a time most convenient for you. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, your own utilities.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, ESPN's Mark J. Spears reporting Spurs coach Greg Popovich will not coach in Game 5 of their first-round NBA playoff series against the Warriors tomorrow. Popovich away from the team following the death of his wife, Erin. Assistant Ettore Messina will again fill in for Pop. The Rockets and Jazz each with a chance to put a stranglehold on their respective series tonight. Houston with a 2-1 lead after the Game 3 loss. In that game, Minnesota shot 50% from the floor, including 15 of 27 from three-point range. For the Rockets to rebound, it all starts with D, points out Coach Mike D'Antoni.
The only thing I'm worried about is defensively we weren't real good. And that takes away a lot of opportunities to run the ball and all that. And we just got to get better there. And we got to understand we're in the middle of a good series. And they did what they were supposed to do, and we did what we were supposed to do. Now, it'll be a great game on Monday.
Coverage of Game 4, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Tonight's other Game 4, Jazz Thunder. Oklahoma City's Russell Westbrook guaranteed there will not be a repeat performance by Utah's Ricky Rubio. Rubio had a triple-double in Game 3, outplaying Westbrook. Utah has a 2-1 series lead. Two first-round series could come to an end tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Capitals are at the Blue Jackets. The Bruins visit the Maple Leafs. Both Boston and Washington have 3-2 series leads. The Caps just 2-5 in their last 7 chances to eliminate an opponent. 3 days after he resigned as head coach of the Hurricanes, Bill Peters was hired as the new coach of the Flames. NFL, the agent for Patriots quarterback Tom Brady told ESPN's Adam Schefter he expects the future Hall of Famer to return for the 2018 season. Said Brady's intentions have not changed. He's consistently said he'll play beyond this contract and into his mid-40s or until he feels he is not playing at a championship level.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
At Jake Cameron Show, word is Jalen Hurts would be a free agent if he doesn't win the starting job. Any interest in him for the Knowles? Appreciate the tweet question. Got to remember hashtag a-hole, everybody. It's been a while, but that's the route we go there. Little hashtag a-hole if you're asking questions on Twitter.
Hashtag a-hole.
That's from Mr. Inappropriate, according to the Twitter handle. I did not assess him that. That's what he calls himself. No interest in Jalen Hurts, I don't think, from me, no. In fact, I talked about this at length. The Alabama spring game took place over the weekend, and unfortunately it did not feature Tua, which is really the whole point, in that, that's the quarterback, quote-unquote, competition. If I were working in Alabama, I don't know if this would ruffle feathers or not, but it's not a competition. Tua is your starting quarterback. Jalen Hurts should transfer. we're done talking.
Unless he wants to switch positions. Yes,
well, no,
exactly
they're loaded at running back. They're loaded at running back. There's no need for him to switch to anything. He needs to leave. They've got beast, Damian Harris, and the rest of that. There's no reason for Alabama. There's no reason for him to be there, unless he wants to accept a limited role, a change of pace, where he could come in and do what he does. I do think there's a place for him in that. He's a great teammate, beloved by all. He's 26-2 as a starter. He's, I mean, my God, the man threw 17 touchdowns, had 1 interception. I mean, he's not a bad football player for college, but he wants to play quarterback. And his dad came out over the weekend and said that if he doesn't win the job, that he would be the biggest free agent in college football. Now, I want to clarify something. His dad is a perfectly reasonable human being. He was asked a question, and he clarified. He said, well, look, if you're asking me whether or not he'll be he would stay if he doesn't win the job, I'd say probably not. No. I mean, he wants to be a quarterback, wants to play quarterback. If he doesn't win the starting job here, what's the point, right? So he wants to play. So he would go and transfer somewhere. A couple of places have come out and said, people think that it would be a good fit, like at Maryland or something like that. Maybe. I got no problem with that. I got no problem with the dad saying that when he's asked a question. I got no problem with the kid transferring if he loses a job to a younger guy who's a better passer. You're never getting that job back unless you want to be that guy, right? You want to be a backup and you'll play a role. Hey, look, in 2006, Florida won a national championship with Chris Leak and Tim Tebow doing that, okay? They made it work. You can do that. I don't know if that's something Nick Saban wants to do. It's not his MO. He's never done that. But then again, right. Nick is a guy that clearly has adapted to the times. He wasn't a guy that wanted to play up tempo or spread it out or run his quarterback. He ended up doing all those things.
Well, I think it's worth revisiting the truth that Tua he's been hyped for some time. He may have been a freshman, but we were doing stuff with the guys from the Alabama rival site preseason, and the talk already was that this kid was going to be the next big player. Well, Alabama finally got a quarterback. They were saying that before Hurts played as well as he did, and the record was what it was. Mm-hmm. Man, so this wasn't a fluke. It isn't like they went to this backup and then he lit the world on fire, but he's an underdog story. No, this is expected. This kind of production was expected from this player. So this wasn't a one-off fluke, and you have a real quarterback battle on your hands.
No, I don't. It's funny. I get it. If you're an Alabama fan, again, you'd yell at your radio and say he's 26-2 as a starter. He's been the SEC Offensive Player of the Year. You've won a ton of games with Jalen Hurts. But it does speak, again, to just how good Alabama is, how good they are everywhere else, where you don't have to have a legitimate passing quarterback, consistently to win a national championship. Not just win some games, win a national championship. This guy's done all those things, right? Until he didn't. Until it's a 13-point deficit in the national championship game and he gets yanked. And in comes Tua and he lights the world on fire and wins that championship. I think the moment it happened, we were all right to say, well, that's that. And Jalen Hurts, if he wants to go play quarterback somewhere else, a lot of people would be excited to have him. I want a guy who throws the ball a little bit better. So,
listen, I'd prefer to have Hurts on my roster if I'm an Alabama fan, because if something happens, your season's not done. There's enough that he could do, clearly. I mean, the last time he touched the field 2 seasons ago, he was leading a game-winning drive against Clemson. Just so happened that Clemson would answer and win the national title on the final play.
He's a phenomenal athlete. So, he's an amazing running back. It'll be interesting to see if he wants to make that transition in due time.
He's an asset. Yes, he's 100% an asset. But if you're an Alabama fan arguing for Hurts over Tua, I don't know what you're watching.
Saban likes to make these things bigger than they are, and he's trying to protect the kid who's been a good kid, who's been a good program kid, who's done everything right. And so you're not going to badmouth anybody. But he's been asked about it all spring, and he gets mad when he gets asked about it. And he'll say, well, you guys want to make it something it's not. No, we're not. It is something. He's not going to win the job. And Tua's been out with a broken hand. So he's on day 1 of practice, he broke his hand. So Hurts started, and he got all the reps. So any progress Jalen Hurts might have made, and maybe he did, this would be his opportunity to take that step forward. He got all the reps. So, this would have to have been it. But legitimately, if you're being objective here, the chances that kid wins that job over Tua, 10%?
Well, 15%? Alabama's schedule is such that he could be the starter for half the season. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, they're opening with Louisville. I think they'll be okay if Hurts was the quarterback in game 1. But if you're playing the best player, the answer on it's simple this time around.
I think it is too. And so, again, it's funny to hear that was going to be the discussion coming out of the spring game for Alabama, the A game as they call it. One thing to say about that, by the way, I roll my eyes when Alabama found a quarterback. The talk after the national championship game was, well, now great. Now they got an honest-to-goodness starting quarterback, like a legitimately good quarterback. They also had a kicker make several kicks in the spring game, a 49-yarder and some others. The two things Alabama never has, now they may very well have. We don't need that. Nobody needs that. Who wants that kind of headache?
So you know what's going to happen. It'll be November. Well, what happened to Alabama's run defense? Where did this come from?
Yeah. Yeah. I hope. Because otherwise, pencil them in.
Oh, they'll be in the Final Four, yeah.
I mean, you might
they've
as well.
They've got the path, right?
And they've got the players. I mean, they've got players. They've got the head coach.
But it's going to be a war with Georgia. That's an arms race all season long, setting up for that matchup in Atlanta. I mean, Auburn obviously has a chance. They always do. They won this past year, so that's fine. But,
well,
that's what this year's all about. It's just it's Georgia, Alabama. The winner goes to the playoff, and the question is, the rest of the conferences, how much do they do to prevent one of the other two SEC or the loser of that game from going to the title?
That, to me, was the most interesting of the spring game questions out of that conference, I think, to some degree, was Georgia because, again, while you already have just a stockpile of great players and Elijah Holyfield and DeAndre Swift and all these different guys, of course, we saw what Jake Fromm did a year ago for Georgia, and then Justin Fields, everybody's going to get their look at him now. I like to crystal ball that situation a little bit because Jake Fromm, if you listen to that kid talk and then you watched him play a year ago, he's kind of everything you want in a quarterback. I mean, he's wicked mature for his age. He's got an incredible work ethic. He's not a guy that when you listen to, you think he's going to get in trouble or do something stupid or let it go to his head. He's got a strong work ethic. He's a smart kid. He's going to do what's necessary. And he was a freshman, so
he's not as slappy, as you'd like to say.
Right, he can play.
Yeah, he's got some throws. He can fit balls into interesting windows that, typically a college football quarterback cannot. But if you have the next coming and he's lighting up practice in fall camp, well, what are you supposed to do?
Right, like one of those two are going to have to think about maybe.
It's amazing. Clemson's going to have somebody transfer. Alabama may have Hurts transfer. Georgia's going to have Fields transfer in a year. Or from
we've got some good things going right here, but it's in Tallahassee. We could use a quarterback.
This is the weirdest phenomenon, though.
It is.
Is that there's so many 4- and 5-star quarterbacks going to the same place. I mean, we had Coker go win a national title at Alabama, so we're not, averse to this conversation.
Got like 3 of these guys.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
And we brought Golson in. The secondary quarterback market it's a thing.
It is a thing. And if Fields feels like it's going to be a while. Well, listen, man, it doesn't have to be. Come on over. You'll have to make that, the sit out the 1 year thing, but it's probably yours right after that.
Of course Georgia would choose from, so come on down here. Of course they choose from.
No, let's go. We speak your language. We're ready to roll, buddy. Let's make it happen. Final hour, forthcoming. Stay with.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
TNT.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Your own personality and your own wants and needs. Some guys like it jacked up. We also do lowering kits.
There's only one place in town that's going to be able to truck it up then.
That's right. That's Truck and Car Concepts.
Truck and Car Concepts. 1 block east of Weems Road on Mahan Drive, across from Kraft Nissan. Call 656-8800. Come on, say it with me. 656-8800.
Woohoo! Banditos!
Huh? Where?
Banditos Burritos, baby.
And now Jeff and Eddie waste my time instead of recording a commercial.
Always with that guy and the time. It's true.
But then Len showed up.
There you go.
I did.
Always.
Yeah.
Just in the nick of time.
Well, that's what I do.
It's timing.
Yeah.
It's important.
That's a skill.
The Sangria Gorilla.
He's been a Sangria Gorilla.
Yeah, guilty.
Sangria Gorilla from way back.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. You're thinking about purchasing a car in the next 6 months. Now is the time. Today through May 1st. You heard about Nissan's fiscal year end in March? Well, Kraft Nissan set another year-end record, and we were awarded a special allocation of vehicles. Some remain, and guess what this means to you? The factory is giving us something that has never been offered before. Not anywhere, not anytime. It is Employee Pricing Plus. It's simple. Browse our lot and find the car of your choice. Kraft Nissan will show you in black and white what the total discount is. That's right. First we give you the employee price, then we show you the total discount under this unheard of program. And if you owe more than your car is worth, Employee Pricing Plus with prices under invoice is your answer to getting that new car you want today. Please note that Kraft Nissan's unlimited time and unlimited mileage lifetime warranty is also included in each new vehicle sold through this exclusive offering. It's Employee Pricing Plus now through May 1st, and it will not be repeated. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. And remember, you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much.
Widden Glass takes care of Tallahassee business. Local contractors know Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. They prefer Widden Glass because of their precise window glass replacement, masterful shower enclosures, and storefront glass. Widden Glass will take care of you to your complete satisfaction. That's been Widden's way of doing business for over 70 years. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. We've done hundreds of storefronts in the Tallahassee area. That's why Widden is known for taking care of business. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac is back at it, supporting the High School Scholar Athlete of the Month on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Listen every Wednesday to hear our monthly winners. Check them out at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMCCadillac.com.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. ESPN's Mark J. Spears reporting Spurs coach Greg Popovich will not coach in Game 5 of their first-round NBA playoff series against the Warriors tomorrow. Popovich away from the team following the death of his wife, Erin. Assistant Ettore Messina will again fill in for Pop. The Rockets and Jazz each with a chance to put a stranglehold on their respective series tonight. Houston with a 2-1 lead after the Game 3 loss. In that game, Minnesota shot 50% from the floor, including 15 of 27 from three-point range. For the Rockets to rebound, it all starts with D, points out Coach Mike D'Antoni.
The only thing I'm worried about is defensively we weren't real good. And that takes away a lot of opportunities to run the ball and all that. And we just got to get better there. And we got to understand we're in the middle of a good series. And they did what they were supposed to do, and we did what we were supposed to do. Now, it'll be a great game on on Monday.
Coverage of Game 4, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Tonight's other Game 4, Jazz Thunder. Oklahoma City's Russell Westbrook guaranteed there will not be a repeat performance by Utah's Ricky Rubio. Rubio had a triple-double in Game 3, outplaying Westbrook. Utah has a 2-1 series lead. 2 first-round series could come to an end tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Capitals are at the Blue Jackets. The Bruins visit the Maple Leafs. Both Boston and Washington have 3-2 series leads. The Caps just 2-5 in their last 7 chances to eliminate an opponent. 3 days after he resigned as head coach of the Hurricanes, Bill Peters was hired as the new coach of the Flames. NFL, the agent for Patriots quarterback Tom Brady told ESPN's Adam Schefter he expects the future Hall of Famer to return for the 2018 season, said Brady's intentions have not changed. He's consistently said he'll play beyond this contract and into his mid-40s or until he feels he is not playing at a championship level.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least 4 today. Thanks for tuning to it. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a glorious... You know what I did this weekend, Tom? You were out of town enjoying the Lightning kicking ass and taking care of New Jersey, and that's cool. You got to see that. You have a good time?
Yes. The seats that I had
fantastic.
Were every bit what I thought they were going to be and more. Yes.
Well, I knew you were down there having fun doing that, and we did for at least a couple of days before it rained yesterday have glorious weather here, and with the baseball team up in Boston, there were no games to attend. By the way, nice sweep for the Noles over the weekend, and got it back on track here a little bit, and could have done without the 6-error game, but they won that one miraculously. But anyhow, that said...
was that the Friday game where
it was ridiculous.
BC came back from whatever the deficit was?
Yeah, 10-3 or whatever.
And they go play 12, 13 innings, whatever it was.
Yeah, so the point would be that they got the sweep on the road. That's exciting. That's good. And, winning games is what matters right now. And, hey, by the way, Kobe Johnson, as an aside here, he's had 10 plate appearances, right? He's 3 for 10, but he's hit a home run, a triple. He's had 7 RBIs. He's walked a couple times. Looks like a legitimate hitter. And I had known that they were working with him. He was a good hitter in high school. And they've been giving him lots of BP as his health improved, and they thought, well, you might be able to DH the guy a little bit.
Yeah.
And so let's see. So, in a short sample size, he's done well. He's done very well, and they could use the bat.
And then Ray Allen would be actually pretty jealous of Stephen Wells and what he did at the plate this past week, reaching base 22 of 24 times.
It's dumb, isn't it?
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Ray Allen at the free throw line's got nothing on this.
It's crazy, and it is something to, and listen, what is that, 100 points he went up? And
yes, 100 points.
He went up 100 points.
Yeah, he's almost at 300 now, and he was under the Mendoza line. Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. He's clearly seeing it. And, pitch selection is part of that. And, so, hey, listen, knock on wood that they're trending in the right direction. Again, it's kind of a mixed bag. You beat a bad BC team. You commit 6 errors in one game and blow a huge lead. You've got holes in your lineup such that you're, desperately trying to figure out if Kobe Johnson can be a hitter. These are all things that concern you. But wins are wins, and they've won 5 straight now. And after having lost 5 straight, beats the alternative. I'd love to see him get it going, and obviously we wanted it to be a case where Martin could break the record at home against Miami, and that's okay. Well,
everything's in line.
Everything's in line. That's what you're rooting for. But anyhow, I was telling you, I knew you were down enjoying the Lightning, taking care of business, and that's good stuff.
Again.
And, yeah.
I know how fast the game is, but you sit down behind the benches and you watch from their perspective.
Crazy.
Well, and these two teams like to go. To watch how a bench is managed, too, it would be boring to most people. In fact, hockey is boring to most people who are listening to this program right now. But to watch how coaches manage all that stuff, the chaos of it, fantastic.
Well, you know what I did? I picked blueberries, Tom. That's what I did. I took it to a blueberry field. We went to Jubilee Orchards and picked blueberries, Tom. Right here at the top of the hour to start this sports talk hour. I'm telling you about blueberry picking. It's kind of fun and games I had this weekend out picking blueberries.
So
Art in the Park as well. Did the Art in the Park as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Did Art in the Park. It was fantastic. You would have actually loved the blueberry orchards, too. They were fantastic. There's rows and rows of blueberries for as far as the eyes can see. You pick them and you bring them home, you eat them.
So I could tell you about how a line change is conducted in the NHL in the playoffs, and you could talk about what it's like to pick blueberries.
Yeah. Have you never picked blueberries?
No, I've never picked blueberries.
You'd like to. You'd like to do it. I'll tell you what. I'm not going to be here this weekend, but you are. I think they've got one more week worth of blueberry picking going on. You ought to go out there. It's something to behold. I'll give you directions.
Are you just being really sarcastic and dry?
Not at all. I did go blueberry picking this weekend. That's the kind of funny games I had.
No, I get that part of it, but the selling on it, you don't seem like you're actually enthused about it.
I did have fun picking. No, you would. I'm telling you, you and Jamie would have a blast going to pick blueberries. I'm not even kidding. Right. If you listen. We're not all sports all the time, folks. We do lots of things, have lots of other interests, and I'm speaking to a broader audience. If you haven't gone out there to pick the blueberries, do it.
I know that's what my sister and brother-in-law do with their 3 kids. They go to pick strawberries, blueberries, whatever the season is, and they go pick them.
I will give you a piece of advice, though, and then we'll move on.
Wear gloves?
No problem there. You're not going to get prickly or anything like that. No, your hands are fine.
Not unless there's Jameson.
That's right. The problem you have is you get carried away because they give you a big bucket, and you go, I want to fill this bucket. I've got a bucket. I'm going to fill it. I'm going to be a bucket filler, not a bucket tipper. I'm going to do this. And then I fill that bucket, and then you weigh the blueberries, and the bill comes. You pay for said blueberries. You can accrue quite the bill.
Is the bucket free?
The bucket's free.
Yeah.
Blueberries are not free.
Right. But, I mean, they don't charge you for the right to pick blueberries, and then they charge you on the way out. So it's just a one-time charge.
Yeah, they weigh the
admission is $5, and then pick blueberries.
No. You park, you walk, you go out there. It's a big to-do. I saw people who listen to the show out there. They were like, "Hey, Jeff."
There was somebody who listened to the show who was in the plaza at the Lightning game. You can't go anywhere.
Show's gotten big, buddy. Yeah. It's good stuff. It's great. It's exciting.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Gabe. Good guy.
Let's hope it continues to grow in that way. I mean, I'm running into people picking blueberries that listen to the show on a regular basis. You're at the actual Lightning game, the Stanley Cup playoffs, and you run into somebody down in Tampa.
I'm standing in the shade at the plaza because it was warm down in Tampa on Saturday now. It was about 88. Well, it's coming. Here in Tallahassee, we've been dragging here for the warm weather, but it was there. And this guy walks across. He works with the Lightning, so he had the suit on and he had the little Captain America pin that they wear for a young lad down in Tampa. But he walks over from across the plaza and he's like, "Hey, love everything you guys do up there. Thank you so much."
Boom.
It's like, very nice to meet you, pal. Boy, you'd think I'm in Tallahassee.
That's good stuff. James writes at Jay Cameron Show. And actually, he wrote to everybody across the board just about who covers Florida State. We all know Coach Tagg and his staff could recruit. Florida State with the #1 recruiting class in the country, as we mentioned last week right now. But if he starts flipping Bama recruits, then we're about to see some special things. Is this too good to be true? It's been like a movie the last 4 months.
War daddies.
I don't think so. I don't think it's too good to be true. I think that Florida State's on the right path. I just want to reiterate something I said last week. I feel that same momentum. There has not been a misstep. There were more spring games this weekend. We were talking about some of it. Alabama had theirs in Georgia, and the fans are all excited. I'd like to believe that Florida State has a distinct advantage within the state right now over Florida, for example, whose spring game didn't go nearly as well. And I do think that Florida State's going to get their fair share of guys in one-on-one battles with Florida. I don't think Dan Mullen brings the same sort of cachet, period. We'll see. Mark Richt's got a lot of good things going on at Miami. He doesn't have a starting quarterback yet unless N'Kosi Perry can play because what's-his-face is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would say is
what's-his-face is exactly right. That's what it says in the back of the jersey.
He's terrible. 44% completion percentage the last 4. I mean, he's awful. How'd that Slappy beat us? I have no idea. But here's the thing. They have invested huge amounts of money in facilities and upgrades for living quarters. Obviously, they're playing now in a $500 million renovated stadium. Lots of things that they've done to improve their lot in life. He's going to be able to keep an unfortunate number of South Florida recruits in South Florida. I think it's not so, speaking of picking blueberries, we're not walking down in the South Florida just picking the recruits we want anymore. It's not happening. So that, to me, is a greater concern over Florida, is Miami.
Yeah.
As this starts to take shape, and you're just talking about things taking shape and trying to have an overview here, I'm just telling you, James, to answer your question, and I'm trying to get a lot of these today, we're in a good place. I'm not going to assume the way Corey and others have that we're now going to get the number one class year in and year out and wrestle that away from Nick Saban in Alabama, Kirby Smart in Georgia. Obviously, when you think about what Clemson's doing on a regular basis, they're recruiting exceptionally well. You've got Miami to contend with now. I just think we'll get our fair share and continue to be top 5. He's resonating with these recruits.
I was listening to you on Saturday morning on Sirius XM when you were talking about Miami and, the danger of what Rick could be building down there.
Yeah.
But even still, he may be donating some money out of his own pocket. But that IPF, isn't it not a full football field? So, I mean, there are little details that still Miami is kind of doing the Miami thing where it's like, yeah, it's a bit of a half measure. They can sell the cool factor if they keep beating us. There's no doubt about that. But that's why this year we've talked about it. It's really important. It's a tough schedule, toughest in the country by many people's metrics. So if you win 9 or 10 games, you have enough to go on.
Well, and that's where I was going.
See, here it is. We just need a couple extra pieces. And guess what? You're one of those extra pieces.
Win over the linemen, offensive and defensive. You're going to get skilled players for days. They're all going to want to play in this system. It's going to be a lot of fun. Gotcha. Need to bring in a quarterback, got to get better at linebacker, got to get better on the offensive line. All of that's true. I think that's going to happen. I think you're seeing that happen in recruiting currently. There's no question. And if you can take that step back and not just be the garnet and gold guy for a second, if you just love the intensity of college football and the elevation of play on Saturday, especially in the Southeast, if that's what you grew up with, you're about to get it, man. I mean, I've talked about this a lot on the national shows that I do, that, hey, if you like college football and you want to see nasty in the next 5 years, we're hearkening back to the 90s. There are just so many players, so many good coaches and staffs right now, so many people fighting for the same athlete throughout this state and the Southeast in general. It's going to be a ball watching what we hope is the end of the Nick Saban era, although that guy doesn't show any signs of slowing down, no signs that he wants to retire. I know Bud Elliott wrote a piece today for SB Nation that's what people at Georgia and other schools are trying to use against Alabama. Nick's 66. He'll be 67 to start this season. We are getting up there. They're starting to float the word of retirement out there, which it's a cruel game, recruiting. That's what happens, right? But the recruits aren't buying it right now because the guy's young, he stays in shape, and this is what he lives for. This is all he cares for. He got asked that question recently, and he said, I don't know what else I would do. This is what I want to do. So unless you start to see a drop in acumen, if he's not as sharp as he once was, which unfortunately I see no signs of that yet.
Or more smiles or whatever.
Right. If he got complacent, it's not going to happen, right? He lives for the process. He lives for the build. So he's not going anywhere. Kirby's got it going again. Like I said, Florida State will have it going. Florida will get a quarterback, and they'll play better. Mark Richt is again, going to do good things out of Miami. Has already begun to do that. I guess if you want to throw Fuente in there with Virginia Tech, it's an uphill battle, always is for Virginia Tech, but he's a real good coach. And then you look at Clemson, and you look, again, this is going to be the creme de la creme of college football.
Yeah, I'm locked in just as you are, ready for all that to happen because it's every game. The parity of the sport is already better than it has been in a long time, and that's across all the Power 5 conferences. But you're going to have at the top level parity too. Outside of the Alabamas or Georgias, when these next couple of years are operating at peak, I think you're going to have more than a handful of teams catch them. And then it's all about, like it was with us and winning the state of Florida in the 90s, if you can come out alive and just give yourself a chance to be there at the end, well, then here's your chance and you better not miss it because next year there's no guarantee you're going to be back, where Alabama is just, they're putting their name in ink every single year. I don't think it's going to be that way.
I hope not, man. It's a topic I've talked about for a long time now. I mean, unless you're an Alabama fan, and if you are, you're like, well, screw you, Jeff. I get it. It's not great for college football if one team is always in the mix for a championship.
Well, and to recap Willie coming here and the storylines around it, what was attractive about Willie taking this job? The Florida State element was kind of at the second tier.
It was that he was young and that he was a great recruiter, and we guessed that he would put together a pretty good staff, one that could really recruit and resonate with players.
Right, because of his connections that he had throughout the state of Florida. Obviously, Tampa was a specific area where he had a lot of connections.
And we had lost all connections to Tampa and done a poor job of recruiting the area where so many great receivers come from.
Yes, he has kids from the state of Florida committing to go play in Eugene. So we understand how powerful he is in a living room and what he can devise up when it comes to a staff. But the falling in love with Florida State thing, I mean, I get that he grew up a fan, but we didn't know that it was love at first sight coming in the spring. And that energy has been just a godsend to the recruiting process. It's helped, shrink the gap that much quicker between us and what Miami have done with a lot of kids that they've been on for a year or two, or with the Alabama kid who just decommitted this weekend, and we think we're going to get him the 4-star defensive back. Mm-hmm. I mean, this gap has shrunk so much quicker, and I think it's because of that extra human footprint, or fingerprint, I should say, with the spring game and all the visits that they had during spring practice. There's no doubt that the personal element has been the number one thing that's made this process so much better for us in the recruiting department.
Without question. The only thing you'll have to now deal with is the process of getting back to being elite. Florida State's not elite right now. And some of these other schools that we're talking about, Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, are. Now, Miami's not elite. Florida's not elite. Many of the schools we're competing to get back up to that status are in the same boat, and they don't have as much momentum as we have. But Clemson, Georgia, and Alabama are all elite. How quickly can you get to that status, which means how many games you're going to lose this year, and how soon do we get to 10 and 11 wins? I think they're going to lose 2 to 4 games this year. 2 would be obviously ideal. Well, ideal would be undefeated, but I'm reasonable. So they're not going to go undefeated, not with this offensive line and not with putting in a new system. If you could win one of the games that many people think you'll lose, that'd be great. Make this thing 9-3, I'd be fine.
In a weird way, though, I think they're doing the harder part quicker, which is forming relationships with kids that they haven't been on quickly. So all you got to do is give the kid a little something to believe in this season. As long as you don't go 7-5 or 8-4 and you lose every important game you play, or you get blown out by your in-state rivals, short of that, they've already done the hard part in forming relationships in short order. I mean, what was it? Ira came on a couple weeks ago and said, we talked about how they were going to have to patch together the 2018 class, but with 2019, they were actually also 6 weeks behind there. And now they've already
closed the gap.
I mean, the energy is real around here at a time where it feels like it might be up in the air for who is the second best recruiter in the country.
Woo! All of this will be fun. I know that. I know this staff does something that I would loathe doing, but they get it right. They're utilizing social media, every aspect of what you need to be good at in order to lure young kids to come play for you over a rival team. They're good at. And that's why it was so important when we made the transition. And I said this repeatedly, you got to get young. It's not just Willie who's young. He's got to put together a young staff. You can have a sprinkle in a couple older guys, but you want young, talented, relatable. All those things are true.
Diverse, let's be honest, too.
Oh,
man.
Well, absolutely. It's a huge thing.
It's a different pitch that we have fundamentally from a lot of other places in the Southeast. Let's not kid ourselves.
Well, we're a lot hipper, I can tell you that. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
TNT.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
It's time to fire up the draft party with 97.9 ESPN Radio. We'll cozy on up to the bar or the deck at Bumpus. That's 2738 Capitol Circle Northeast, but you better know it as Calico Jack's, right? The old one. Enjoy $3 drafts, 75-cent wings all night long. If you ask nicely, my man Eddie will give you a free bear hug. Tom also told me to tell you to try the giant pretzel. He's got a problem. We'll see you there Thursday night for the NFL Draft at Bumpus.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer.
Nice Tire and Auto, just minutes away from FSU campus.
I was driving in my car and I smelled a number 5 with fries. Hadn't stopped for lunch, made me realize it was just my ride. Oh no. But with the new Febreze car, I got it under control. Now they come in light or bold, choose how you roll. Febreze car, roll with me and breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
The first sign of spring? Spring Black Friday prices at the Home Depot. Save up to 35% on appliance special buys, like a GE top-load washer and electric dryer for just $398 each. Spring has sprung. Get up to 35% off appliance special buys with Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid through April 25th, U.S. only while supplies last. Gas dryer extra, see store for details.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. It's Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
NFL Draft is here Thursday. Well, it's on TV here. We'll be watching it at Bumpus. Hopefully you'll join us. It's a watch party at Bumpus. If you don't know where Bumpus is, wake up. Capitol Circle, and it's the old Calico Jack's, CJ's. They used to have bladder busts at the old CJ's, Tom. Not a really good practice. I think most places have done away with the bladder bust. When I was in college here, it was a bladder bust town. Everybody had a bladder bust, and you really pushed the limits of what was reasonable. But then people got killed, and so they had to do away with bladder bust. When you think about the mere idea of it, it doesn't sound real responsible, does it? Like, if you're a bar owner, you'd think to yourself, this probably is not going to go well. People are going to be peeing in my potted plants, or they're going to leave here absolutely blitzed. And
why specifically potted plants?
Well, there were outdoor decks, and occasionally that's what you'd see, or that's what would happen.
Oh.
But not for me. But I saw it. I saw people people pee and play crazy places when it's a bladder bust, because to not do so, to be seen by everybody else ruining the free beer,
yes,
is to be assaulted, perhaps. So, it's a thing of yesteryear, thankfully. Anyhow, Calico Jack's, way back when on Capitol Circle, used to have one. Or they'd have nickel beer night. Nickel beer night was the big thing. Good old nickel beer. So
that existed in my day.
That did exist? Yes. I bet that still exists.
Saturdays at the pub, which was the old strip, the old Tennessee strip, which now is like an afterthought for kids.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, it's nuts. But anyhow, that has nothing to do with nothing other than a trip down memory lane. Should be noted that Bumpa's is outstanding and has a ton of televisions and a lot of great food. And in addition to that, a sampling of all the finest craft beers you could want. It's a good time. 75-cent wings, I believe it is, and $3 domestics, and company of your fellow football fans set to enjoy the draft.
Yeah, quite the opposite atmosphere from the old Calico Jacks, from what I'm gathering.
There was something to be said for that back in the day, but then it just really regressed into a place of not just debauchery, but
iniquity.
Yeah, it was gross. It just got gross after a while there. Now it's cleaned up, gorgeous. Outdoors will be beautiful on Thursday night if that's your thing, sitting out on the deck.
No, for me, it's going to be counting down the spots, just the same as last year when the Bucs are picking. It's like, all right, so I can have my choice of 2 players or 3 players by the time we get to pick 5. It's what have the Jets done? Has Cleveland done something stupid? And our quarterbacks falling off the board, because if quarterbacks are coming off the board, that's such good news for us.
And I think they will. It looks more and more like that's going to happen. You know what you find in this, and I'm learning a lot. We ended up doing some interviews over the weekend, and I've now had a chance to talk to a lot of people that cover the NFL draft or whose livelihood it is, right? Websites, analysis, player breakdown, former NFL scouts, and not clowns that just got in it. I mean, and there are people who've done a good job just getting in it from the outside. But then there are people who, in the industry, people who work in football, work for franchises, who leave the NFL because the schedule's too much, or scouting, traveling, doing all that stuff is too much on their families, and they forge a life in breaking these things down on websites. And you can find a lot of interesting information from these guys, some of them even, in a way, sponsored by the NFL, so they get good tape. And what I'm finding over time, and we've noticed this from afar, it's any given year this happens, but a franchise in need of a quarterback can convince themselves in a hurry that player A or player B, by virtue of the fact that they scored a lot of points in college and play the position of quarterback, is the guy they need because they need a quarterback. As opposed to objectively taking a step back and going, I don't think this is a real good draft for quarterbacks. Either we get Josh Rosen or we pass. Or we like Darnold or we like Allen, whomever it is you like of that group. I'm a Rosen guy, and I don't think it's close, frankly. But teams will convince themselves just because they need it. So what you're hearing is, 5 quarterbacks in the first round. See, this does not strike anybody, any reasonable person, as a draft that has 5 or 6 really good quarterbacks waiting to go in the first or early second round. Not even close. My guess and my opinion is that maybe 2 of these guys on the list are going to turn out to be decent. Rosen has a chance to be really good if he can stay healthy. He's the most accurate of the quarterbacks. That's not close. He's the most NFL ready of the quarterbacks in terms of being a pocket passer, taking snaps under center, drop back, throwing, I formation guy, that kind of stuff.
Well, I think here's the easiest way to ask you how you feel about these quarterbacks and Rosen, even though he's the head of the class.
In my opinion, a lot of people think Darnold's more ready, but I don't see it. I don't see it.
Cleveland has 2 cracks at this thing, number 1 and number 4. If you were a Cleveland fan, what would you prefer Cleveland does? Takes a quarterback with one of those 2 picks, or takes Barkley and then the best player, maybe Nelson or something like that, at 4?
So I don't think Josh Rosen, as much as I love him, is a good fit in Cleveland for a variety of reasons. So I wouldn't take him. I wouldn't take any of these quarterbacks at this point. So if you want some combination of Saquon Barkley and Quentin Nelson, I think you've just improved your team immensely. You've got a makeshift situation at quarterback right now. You'll get an average player at quarterback for this year. Everything else can continue to be built there and wait for you till you have a guy, till you see a guy that you really feel good about. Or you do what some teams have done, and you go out and get a veteran who's on the uptick and has shown you now that he's maybe the light bulb's gone off. Denver just did that, obviously, if you think about what they did with Minnesota. And so, occasionally a guy will rise up and you'll say, hey, he seems to have figured it out a little bit here. Okay, we can bring him into the fold, and you might be all right. Rosen's a good selection if you think he's a good fit for Cleveland, because I think he's the best of the quarterbacks playing and that people are high on in this draft. But I have a feeling he'd talk down to the people of Cleveland. And I don't know that that's going to fly. You know, I mean.
Yeah. I don't know if I want him in the Midwest. It's a swing state. There are elections coming up.
I'm serious. Yeah. That's the only time I've thought about it is when people have said, so you love Rosen, would you take him one? I'm like, yeah, but I'm Cleveland. I don't think he fits there. They like Bernie Kosar. You know what I mean? That's
right.
Very different.
Right. If it goes bad, immediately coastal elite get the hell out of my town.
It's exactly right.
Yeah.
And I think he would be happy to oblige and get the hell out of town. I don't think he's going to war for the folks of Cleveland. So I don't know, man. Saquon Barkley's safe. I'm also becoming more and more apt to decide that if there's a can't-miss talent and I'm drafting in the top 5 and we think he's going to be a great player in the league for upwards of 10 years, well, I don't care that he's a running back. Take him. Take him. I mean, Saquon Barkley is a really good player. Here's the problem. There are no fewer than 10 legitimate NFL backs in this draft. It's the deepest position in the draft. It's not close. You want to take a running back here? Sony Michel's going to work out just fine. Chubb's going to work out just fine in the NFL. There are a lot. By the way, Chubb's going to be really good too. So,
but you get 2 picks in the top 5. So I mean, you could almost you have a luxury pick. So you could take him, and then you still have another one of those aforementioned top 5 picks to address need. That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
I know we didn't win a game where we won 1 of the last 32 if we're Cleveland, but, if we're ever going to get out of it, looks like now would be the time. You have 2 cracks at it in the top 5.
Well, one of those picks would be Barkley.
I just need players at this point. I need good players. As many of them as possible. It's a cliche factory. It sounds like Herm Edwards would say something like that.
You know who I don't take? Baker Mayfield. Not if I'm Cleveland.
For Cleveland?
No, that's who I don't take for sure. That's we've seen that act. I'm not doing that.
In a weird, warped way, though, he could be the chip on the shoulder face of Cleveland's resurgence.
I guess. There's a lot of risk in that pick, man.
Yes, there is.
There's a lot of risk in that pick.
If it worked out, it would be a home run. Nothing short of it. It wouldn't be a double down the line.
Our man Charlie Campbell is going to join us on Thursday, walterfootball.com, and he puts in the effort, the time, and the investment into these mocks that he comes up with. And he'll admit, he'll be the first to tell you, look, there's a lot of smoke screens out there. All I can do is talk to the various teams and their scouts and try to surmise what I can. And he had Buffalo taking Josh Rosen, which, there's a similar feel to Cleveland taking Josh Rosen as Buffalo taking Josh Rosen. But in terms of the ability to make those throws in that weather with the cold and the wind, he can make those throws. He's got a big arm, but for that matter, so does Josh Allen. But I like Rosen's accuracy. If you have a clean pocket, Rosen's the best quarterback in the draft. You have to assess your offensive line situation. And that's tough if you're Cleveland. I wouldn't mind a combination here of doing something that a lot of people would raise an eyebrow at because they're all assuming they're going to take a quarterback with one of these picks. But you could do any combination of Barkley and then maybe Chubb off the edge. You have bookends.
Right, well, you put him with Garrett.
That's what I mean. You got bookends, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could do that. You could go Saquon Barkley and Quentin Nelson, which I wouldn't hate. I mean, you got it. Offensive line's the whole game.
Yeah. It's just funny to me because if it were, let's say, Arizona, I'm trying to find a really good example, but if it were Arizona 1-4, like Cleveland is, you would take Rosen in that situation.
Number 1 overall, yes.
Okay.
I would. Yeah, well, if you need a quarterback, he's the only guy I really believe in of that group.
Is it because of the weather? Because, Arizona.
Nice.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And I think
because the people of Arizona can be a little bit testy with a guy like Rosen, too.
Yeah.
If you're going about fit.
Well, listen, Rosen's going to say what he's going to say. He's come out on the front cover of ESPN, the magazine, and told everybody, I'm not going to shut up and just throw the ball. I'm going to say what I have to say. Now, he's an educated, smart kid. So he's learning about when and when not to say certain things and how to phrase those things. So, I'm going to bet that he's going to continue to mature. If you believe he's invested in football and he cares, which he says he absolutely does, loves the game, passionate for the game, doesn't need to play the game, and yet still does and put in the time as proof that he loves it. And so there's that. He's smart. Okay, well, check that box. I like my quarterback to be pretty smart. And best arm of the group, I think so. Most accurate, certainly. Makes all the throws that are going to be required of him. Played under center, can run an offense like we see throughout the NFL. So, yeah, to me, he's the guy. He's had an injury problem, but, I don't know. That doesn't always translate. That's not always something. I mean, we've seen that with lots of players, and they go on to the NFL and be fine. So, football's a rough game. Sometimes you get hurt, but he's tough. And that's the other thing I'd note. One of the reasons he got hurt is that he'll stand in there to take a shot to make the throw. And I can't teach that. I need to know my guy has that. He has that. He'll stand there sometimes unnecessarily.
Yeah.
And, that's what we fell in love with DeAndre Francois, by the way. That is a factor that we love with Francois, is a willingness to take a beating to let that next step happen so that you throw a guy open and you score and you make the big play.
The more distance we have between the spring game and now, the more I think that there would have been 3 or 4 chalk outline moments if the quarterbacks were live. Well, and that would have changed everything about how people feel about that game.
Yeah, I think so. Again, one thing to note, the offensive line, if we're going to segue into FSU, is just going to have to be so much better. Now, they didn't have everybody out there, and they are a lot better when those guys that they're expecting to play are playing. But there's not a lot of margin for error. You have a couple injuries again this year. It's going to be rough sledding. You play, depending on what you're looking at, the most difficult schedule in the country. Well, that's a problem if your offensive line's not great. Now, you're going to be helped out by spreading things out. You're going to put defenders in conflict. You're going to make them make decisions, and that'll help you out in the run game. That'll give you a little bit of time. You can help disguise some things. But at the end of the day, Willie Taggart wants to run the football. The beauty of this system and the way that he wants to run it is that he wants to run the football, which requires a physicality and a toughness that I don't know we have with that group up front.
Especially with the fronts we're going to be facing week to week.
Well, Virginia Tech to start the year. Bud Foster, blitz is coming off the bus. So he's going to challenge whether or not you have your system in place and feel comfortable with it and that your quarterback can make those throws and reads right now, because I'm coming. I'm not giving you all damn day to hit your DJ Matthews in space and all that. I'm not doing that.
And you're not reinventing the wheel in Tallahassee. I've prepared for this system plenty of places against plenty of opponents.
Right.
So that's the other thing here is it's new to us, but the defensive coordinators we're facing, I mean, they've seen it.
They have, and it'll be interesting. I think they're moving in the right direction. You're simplifying an offense and getting really good players in space, and you're going to allow them opportunities for the big play. And so I don't have a problem with it, especially if he wants to run it as much as I think he does, which Baylor didn't run it the way that we're going to run it. He wants to run the football. He wants that physical element. Remember, he's a Harbaugh disciple.
Right.
He wants to run the football.
Yeah, it's Auburn circa 2013. I get they got lucky a lot of weeks and probably didn't deserve to be in the title game, but hey,
they were a good team though. Yeah.
Yes, and they were physical about it. It was fast, but it was physical.
It was fun. I've always said, we came out of that Rose Bowl and you and I talked the next day, and I remember thinking, well, we talked that night, but I remember thinking, if you're going to run that, that's the way you run it. That's the way you run it, because you can avalanche affect people running that system, and you can beat them up too. Those two usually don't go hand.
Yes, that's right. They're asking themselves questions in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Do I really want to be here?
Yeah, that's I can deal with that. Well, you can tell we're excited about football. We go from Josh Rosen, teams trying to convince themselves that have other quarterback players, our offense next year.
Well, you brought up bad OL play. Where else are we going to go in Tallahassee?
It immediately comes back here. So the point would be this Thursday, come out to Bumpus and enjoy the draft with us. We'll see what Derwin James goes. I'm excited about that. I think Derwin James, the more I talk to people and the more I think about it, I do think he's going to be a fine NFL player. If he goes to the right place, he could be great even. I think he's so effective in the run game. You don't have many players that look like Derwin James and do what he does. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
TNT.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Mow the distance.
Over 150 new zero turns in stock. Visit TNTSupercenter.com to view inventory and pricing. In Thomasville, Georgia.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to give you special savings on the toughest tractors and utility vehicles on earth during the Mahindra Red Tag Sale. Hurry in for up to $7,900 in cash back and Red Tag savings. Only from Mahindra.
Up to $7,900 in cash back savings. Visit TNTSupercenter.com to view selection.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
In Thomasville, Georgia.
Widden Glass takes care of Tallahassee business. Local contractors know Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. They prefer Widden Glass because of their precise window glass replacement, masterful shower enclosures, and storefront glass. Widden Glass will take care of you to your complete satisfaction. That's been Widden's way of doing business for over 70 years. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. We've done hundreds of storefronts in the Tallahassee area. That's why Widden is known for taking care of business. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
This Day in Sports brought to you by Superlube. Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary.
This day in sports history, April 23rd, 1989. Los Angeles Lakers center Kareem Abdul-Jabbar played in his final game of his career. At the time of his retirement, Kareem was the owner of numerous NBA records, including the most games played with 1,560 and the most MVPs, 6. Kareem is still the NBA's all-time scoring leader and was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1995.
Want better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine? Change your oil every 3 months or 3,000 miles, whichever comes first. You know that sticker on your windshield? Don't look at it now. Wait until the next red light. Okay, check the number on your sticker. Then check your odometer. Is it time? There are 19 Tallahassee area Superlube locations, which means there's one close to you right now. No appointments, and you're in and out in no time. You could do this today. Superlube, for better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine.
How I love to Superlube my car. Yes, sir.
Bumpus Local 349, finally our first event together. Oh, I've pined for the days, and now it begins with a draft party to boot. That's right, it's time to fire up the draft party with 97.9 ESPN Radio. We'll cozy on up to the bar or the deck at Bumpus. That's 2738 Capitol Circle Northeast, but you better know it as Calico Jack's, right? The old one. Enjoy $3 drafts, 75-cent wings all night long. If you ask nicely, my man Eddie will give you a free bear hug. Tom also told me to tell you to try the giant pretzel. He's got a problem. We'll see you there Thursday night for the NFL Draft at Bumpus.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Cameron Show 97.9 ESPN Radio. So, just to get the advice further, Universal Islands of Adventure, right, Tom? I'm pulling the trigger today, buddy.
Islands of Adventure.
All right, there it is. So that's the one with all the roller coasters. Can you believe I've lived in Florida like virtually my whole life? I've never been to Universal. I've not once. No idea.
Not once.
Not one time. I've been to Disney World. I've been to Epcot. In Tampa, obviously Busch Gardens and Adventure Island and all that stuff, but never been to Universal. And that's why I was confused when we were talking. You said, "Oh no, you got to do the Islands of Adventure if you want the roller coasters." So there's another Universal that doesn't have all that. Is that right?
Yeah, just Universal Studios.
Okay, so that's just more for like the little kids.
Yeah, I mean, there's some cool stuff there, but it's more catered for the younger. Pre-teens kind of a thing.
All right.
And then, people who like the throwback kind of stuff, so the older crowd too.
Oh, okay, I got you. So like the old Disney World? I mean, like the old cartoons and things? Like, you mean like Bambi and stuff?
They got old movies and stuff.
Yeah.
They used to have the Back to the Future ride.
Oh, right,
things
right,
like that.
Yeah. All right, so, and there are terrifying roller coasters at this?
Islands of Adventure, yes.
Terrifying ones?
Well, I don't know if any roller coaster is terrifying, is it?
Some are. I think there are a couple of kinds. The kinds that where you just are like floating and suspended up in the air and they just drop you. And you free fall for like however many seconds.
Straight up, straight down?
Yeah, those bother me.
Yeah, they have that.
They freak me out a little bit.
Used to be called the Dr. Doom. Now
Don't they shoot you up in the air like that?
Yeah. I will say, though, I have not been to Islands of Adventure for longer than I'd care to admit. I mean, I'm talking decades almost now.
What's the Tower of Terror? Is that there?
That's at Disney's former MGM Studios, which is just now called Hollywood Studios.
I've not been to that either.
Oh, really?
No. Well, yeah, I try to avoid Orlando like the plague.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I get why. It's funny. When I have to drive through it now, it used to be that my dad would drive through it, but now that I drive through it.
Yeah, you're like, no.
I get it.
No,
I get where you're coming from. But we were raised Disney people, so I know all that stuff.
All right.
The Disney side of it, the Universal side, it was usually when I went with friends.
I'll be doing it up this weekend, buddy, in full effect. There we go. We'll be out there.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, good times.
Get ready for the people on the scooters.
Oh, yeah. No, that's great. It's all right. There'll be escapism going on. I'll have opportunities, especially when I'm in, the other countries where they sell beer and stuff, because we're doing Epcot.
Oh, I was going to, it's not Universal at all.
No, we're doing Epcot, and then we're doing Universal. Maybe a third. Just don't know yet.
Epcot is when? What day?
Friday.
Are you going to spend the evening at Epcot too? Or are you going to...
We're going to make it day of it. I think it's going to be a big to-do. Yeah.
So my parents just found something at Epcot that might be of some use to you.
All right.
In Italy.
Yes.
They have
I like that.
The big restaurant, and they have a pizzeria too.
Yep.
But there's this hidden winery place that they went to.
That is of interest.
It's a winery, and you can sit there, and you don't have to have a reservation for dinner. So you can still get an amazing menu, and you don't have to, sign up and all that stuff.
I think we're doing Morocco as well, which I'm excited about because Bryce is going to write a report on Morocco, so we want to do that.
All right.
I'm excited. He chose Morocco.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, well, we listed out all the countries, all the different restaurants, all the places you could go, and he said, let's do Morocco. I said, I like where your head's at, son. Morocco sounds good.
Well, while he's doing the writing and stuff, head up to the winery.
We'll be doing the whining and eating. Yeah, sounds good to me. Let's do probable, shall we? Here we go.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Braves, Reds, Mike Fultonevich. It's not Fultonevich, it's Fultonevich.
Is it really? There's a ne instead of a
ne in there, yeah.
Okay.
Fultonevich.
We'll have that game right here, weather permitting, of course.
You're damn right we will. Sal Romano will take the hill for the Reds. Sorry-ass Reds. Indians, Orioles, Carlos Carrasco and Kevin Gausman go for the Orioles. The Orioles are terrible, too, by the way. Twins, Yankees, Jake Odorizzi, Masahiro Tanaka going for the Yanks. We got A's, Rangers, Trevor Cahill, Matt Moore. Going on with oh my gosh, my computer's freaking out. Angels, Astros, Tyler Skaggs, and Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole has thrown 7 innings in each of his first 4 starts of the season now. He's allowed all of 3 earned runs. He has struck out 41 batters. It is a record.
Maybe Sears just isn't a good pitching coach.
It's unbelievable. This freaking guy. I'm sitting watching the Astros games that he pitches and goes, come on, little comebacker off the elbow. I feel terrible about it, but I'm saying I'm thinking it. I am. I'm thinking it. I'm admitting the cruelty comes into play there. It's ridiculous. Fake-ass ace in Pittsburgh, but now all of a sudden, okay. Mariners, White Sox, Mike Leake, Miguel Gonzalez. We got Padres, Rockies. Now watch what's going to happen. There's going to be a comebacker off his elbow. It's going to shatter. He's going to be out for the year, and I'm going to feel a little bad.
Yes, because you caused it. Right here. You set events in motion.
That's right. I spoke it. Spoke it into being. Padres, Rockies, Brian Mitchell, Chad Bettis.
He's always pitching.
Always. Marlins, Dodgers, Harlan Garcia, Walker Buehler. Who the hell? I've never heard of Walker Buehler. Oh, he just got called up from AAA. Good. I was going to say, who the hell is Walker Buehler? What a ridiculous name.
It's his middle name, Parker.
Nats, Giants, Gio Gonzalez, Chris Stratton. And that's a look at those that shall reside on the bump. You know, in that last segment, when we were talking about the surefire, unmitigated disasters waiting in the wings here for the draft on Thursday night, it got me thinking during the break. If the Jets pull the trigger on Baker Mayfield, that's insane. Nothing has complete disaster written on it more than if the Jets take Baker Mayfield. Because you're right. If Cleveland does, which is a dumb pick, but if Cleveland does, you're like, all right, well, maybe he's the gritty guy that could, and he'll take on the attitude of the Clevelanders who are tired of being kicked around.
Me against the world,
right. They'll like his ass. Yeah. They will. They desperately wanted Johnny Manziel to make it for that reason, too. Yeah. But it didn't happen because he wasn't any good. Just like, I don't know if this would work out, but the attitudes would be in line. Baker Mayfield to the Jets, the New York City media dealing with Baker Mayfield. Great. Fun for the rest of us. That's not going to be a good move for your franchise.
Groundhog's Day.
No, that's just crazy. Not going to work. That one says disaster, and I laugh when I think about it because if they do it, well, it's silly. Just like Josh Allen to Cleveland, which Charlie Campbell's going to join us on Thursday. There is a strong push for Josh Allen to go number 1 in this draft.
He feels like he's more suited to be an answer to a trivia question 10 years from now.
He sounds like a guy that Cleveland drafted at quarterback a few years back that's out of the league.
Right. Yes.
That's what he sounds like. He sounds like that guy. The one of 25 Cleveland quarterbacks that they drafted when everybody went, huh? What? Accuracy issues in college is a problem.
Oh, I forgot about Josh Allen. Yeah,
that guy.
Did he go number 1 overall?
He did. He sure did. What would be funny? Let me tell you what would be funny. Is if they go Josh Allen and then the Giants take Saquon Barkley, and then before Cleveland can go again, like Quentin Nelson goes 3, and they're stuck doing what?
Right.
What are they going to do?
They get Chubb.
Well, I mean, that would be the best pick in that moment, but good Lord. Yeah, I would laugh. I will say this, again, you keep hearing Derwin James's name down in Tampa, which I'm fine with if it happens, only if Quentin's not on the board. But I do think Derwin would make an instant impact in that secondary.
Yes.
You don't love it. It's not ideal.
Well, I want to see what options we have at the moment we make the choice.
Bradley Chubb or Derwin James. How about that? What if those are the options? You like those options? You don't like those options? You say trade down if those are your options.
No, I'd take Chubb. You got to have a pass rusher, and now you might have 2.
Okay.
That makes your secondary better. Like,
sure.
Derwin can't make your pass rush better unless you just want to make him an edge blitzing specialist at all times.
Right.
Not a third and obvious.
Right.
But a pass rush can make Evans better in the secondary. It can make Hargraves better in the slot. I mean, we know how it works.
What about Denzel Ward? Would you take the corner out of Ohio State if he's sitting there?
There are going to be better options than that, but if they took him, I think I would just be neutral on it. I would stop talking for the night. I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be happy. I'd say, okay, well, who's picking 8? Let's just move on.
You're like me, buddy. I wouldn't like that pick. I'm going into it with an open mind. I have no illusions. I don't think that Quentin Nelson's going to fall to 7. If we get that lucky and we don't take him, I'm leaving. I'm just telling you now, I'm leaving. I'm paying my tab, and I'm saying, thanks, Bumpus. I'm leaving.
Bryce, get in the car. We're going to Epcot.
That's right. It's like that poor NC State fan that drove down with his family that year. They came here in 2013, and they went, okay, we're going home now.
Mary, get in the car.
Get in the car, Mary. There's nothing more to see. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.